I'll put up the date. Does anyone remember what happened last time?
So last time we finalized our rudimentary attack plans and set off to meet our boat, and we ran into a stampede of well, oh,
Oroks.
they were aurochs, that was it.
Yep.
A
Lizards and
stampede of
bulls
aurochs being
things.
hunted by giant electric lizards or something stupid. And we
Chroma
mostly just
lizards. Yeah, they're a little stupid.
and we like hunkered down and finished them off and got a lot of meat and other things.
Shiny hides.
And then we took shelter in an old giantish school, which had a ghost, and she's, a ghost. Not really a lot
Uh,
happened there.
and we got one of the worst streaks of dice rolls. Not as bad as like my other game where we had 3 nat 1s in a row. Uh,
Yeah,
but
I mean, the
yeah,
dice were
like
telling a story. It was, it would, it. She wasn't gonna turn. She didn't turn violent, but
It was a story about hating us.
yeah.
And
Well, she just couldn't seem to understand. She seemed very agitated by, you implying that there was issues, and she didn't like that, and yeah. But
If you want to see bad rolls, you should have seen the last combat encounter my library game had. It took us
ah,
4.5 sessions to fight a vampire.
I mean, it's pretty bad, but you never saw the Cinderette incident.
I mean, to be fair, the Cinderette was not 4 sessions, dude. Like, that's awful.
12 hours of combat because no one could hit and the vampire just kept regenerating.
my God.
It eventually just left after the party was completely
left.
depleted of spell slots and health. Everyone was down below 10 max HP.
Just at the end,
The
it was just
vampire is like, get me the fuck out of here.
yeah, like this isn't even fun.
Well, they
The
called the guards after like 10 hours because they were like, okay, we can't do this.
like the sadistic glee of seeing you struggle is not even fun anymore. I'm out. Just fucking end it.
God, that does sound pretty funny. All right. Um, yeah, I don't have much to add beyond you guys found you had some very good tea and some plants that are very
Ah,
flammable.
yes.
And I think that about covers it. Yeah, it was a it's about the journey. So, but you had your journey. You guys got there well ahead of time. You had a pretty decent ruin to kind of settle in, even if it was slightly haunted. Um, and yeah, we had let off. I believe it was it was about 1:13 in the a.m. as the ship was arriving. After you guys' 5-day total trip, or 3 days of travel and 2 of waiting. Um, on board, you can see one person on deck, at least right now, and lit up by their dancing lights. And yeah, do you guys want to like draw attention, or you'll need to kind of travel a little bit outside the illusionary barrier that sort of hides the ruin. Or
Hmm,
you could just, I don't know. Oh, you could have your Lady Wayrub use her sending stones to communicate with her if you want to do
that certainly works. It removes any confusion.
that. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, then the ship will pivot around and, like, with all the confidence of a 16-year-old in a driving test, very slowly nudge forward towards the cliffs until it parts through where the illusion is. And can't dock too closely, but being cliffs, it's relatively deep water, pretty close to the stone itself. There's no shore to speak of, so upsides is it can get pretty close. And do you guys? Let's see. It can just flutter over. That's not any issue. Pick could just get a rope and you guys could like dangle precariously and slide over. Any other way you want to do it, I'm fine with.
So
Pick
what
is
I'm
happy to
hearing is,
facilitate.
all of us get on the rope while Pick carries all of us over to the ship
I am
in one
super
go.
strong. It's gonna go really good.
Yeah, that I was thinking tie the rope to the ship and then like the side and you zip line down, but I mean, however you want to do it is I leave the like the minutia up to you, I suppose. But getting on there shouldn't be too hard, realistically. It'd just be a little time consuming. There is a dinghy like that can lower down, and you guys like painstakingly go up if you don't want to do anything risky. Either way, you're able to get back on board your comedically large ship, and you see the very nervous uh, Kalasa, who looks simultaneously relieved to see you alive and a little bit depressed that she's probably going to have to continue to accompany you, like as the designated person on the ship. Um, but yeah, the ship has probably about 2 more hours in it. If you want to turn right around, or you could just there isn't really a good like place to dock here, so to speak. It's a pretty rough cliff line or coastline.
Right. I can
So
at
it
least
might
take over piloting to give her some time to rest.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not the physical exertion. She's just a nervous person in general. Doesn't seem like she's happy about any of this. So she gladly hands the control of the helm over. And yeah, like as you guys go to set off, headed back south towards Mishann, um, Lady Wayrub looks westward out towards the Sea of Lost Souls and just says, we should have a relatively safe trip. The western coast can be dangerous, but usually only if you go out far enough to lose sight of land. Then you have to deal with the occasional ghost ship, or the much more common threat of monsters below the waves demanding tribute. Um, Between that and the northern waters being poisoned and free of any sort of life, my people have good reason to only sail towards the mainland when we leave the islands. And yeah, let's see. Leave it again. Let me bring up the thing here to see exactly how far you go. 2 hours would get you 28 miles. There we go. And yeah, at that point, the ship starts to run on its daily charge. And it's about 3 something in the morning. How do you guys want to do the rest thing? You don't actually have to have a long, like you just had a long rest, if I remember correctly. So you don't have to have one. It's just the ship's out of charge.
So it takes what, 8 hours to charge? Or
I
24?
believe, let
I'm
me
trying to
look here.
remember.
Per 120. So yeah, it's basically a day. Like every day you can get 112 yeah, 112 miles out of it. So it's yeah, like 8 hours of sailing for every
Oh,
24
okay.
hours basically.
I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. But you don't have to just hang out on this giant ship. You could have it like hug closer to the shore or something and hop off and explore some rocky coastline or something. But whatever you want to do, you are soon you soon find that you're in the you've gotten 2 hours off the 3 days of sailing that'll take to get back to Mishann, basically. Or you could,
Can
yeah, go ahead.
can we reduce speed and just sail straight through?
Um,
Or
well, so you could theoretically, but it would involve like jury rigging sails up and stuff. It's not like stopped in the water, but all magical propulsion basically cuts off after that.
I mean in general, like can we like limit the throttle? Or
Um,
is it like 100 or nothing?
it's kind of 100 or nothing. That was
Okay.
sort of my balance for travel speed because it already is like this is pretty good, but I don't want it to be like teleport around the map level speed. That'll be the next thing.
Okay.
We'll get
So
that.
yeah,
We'll get that when you hit like 15th level.
yeah, I mean, probably sooner than that. Airships are a thing, but either way, yeah. Right now, this is probably this is as fast as you're going to get for a while. But sadly, it is kind of all or nothing.
Okay. So
I'd
yeah, we'll
say
just
my in-game explanation would be like probably worked a little better 30,000 years ago, but it uh, it still works. That's the impressive part.
We're having
mm,
like a little bit of a tech priest moment. We kind of know how it works, but not really. So
Yeah,
we
exactly.
turn it
Just
on or
believe
off.
in it. There's spirits in the machines.
so yeah, we'll just
Yeah,
hang
you're a
out.
beautiful giant
Purser
tech.
will work on some research and testing some spells, and we'll
Yeah, you've got time. That's um, yeah. Does anybody else want to do anything for your kind of your day at the beginning of this three-day journey?
Mm, so
Just
I think
chilling.
Pig is going to just enjoy turning herself into a kite occasionally and just attaching to herself to the ship with like weave herself a soft little harness and then just get drugged behind it.
In the water.
Whee!
Oh,
No,
by
above.
air. Okay. I was like, thanks. No.
Just passes her time being a kite and enjoying it.
That's fair.
I must go. My people need me.
Just
Yeah.
out there, just look outside, and she's got her like soft little harness on, and she just riding the wave.
I would be scared.
Ludger, yeah, Ludger is going to continue working on the operational planning for like basically the commando raids and all that.
Okay. Yeah, you're just trying to put together info packet to hand your squad leader type thing. Fair enough.
A pamphlet even.
Yeah, could be a pamphlet. Um, but yeah, in that case, whatever you guys want to do, you can do it for the time period, and after that, power seems to return to the ship and full speed ahead, so to speak. Um, oh, and actually, since you're doing it, do you want to switch schedules again so you're sailing during the day or night?
Purser would prefer sailing during the day.
Visibility is better.
Demi is not here to argue.
Slightly. I don't even think I can see off the deck in the dark. Like,
Yeah, the size of it means you literally can't see the water. I
I
just realized
technically
it's
can,
awful.
but I need to turn on my stand.
No, I just like
Oh,
that would
that's
be
only too
so
dark.
terrifying. Why does a modern sized ship with this speed not have headlights? Yeah.
even if it does, they're just too far away and at the front of a massive boat. Maybe if
Yeah.
I was 40 feet tall, I'd be fine.
Yeah, that's yeah, one of the things like the fact that this much of it works for tiny people in you guys' sense like is miraculous. Um,
We
but
need to get
yeah,
we get
sorry, what
some
were you saying?
LED headlights for a ship, and we'll always know where it is.
I will have the Krakens attack you if that happens. Like I was just out of sheer hatred for those assholes.
Oh
I
no, what's that
fucking
other
hate
one that's
those.
even worse? I forgot what they're called, but they're fucking worse.
But yeah, you got the first day.
Halogen?
Halogen, yeah, halogen fucking headlights. Um, but yeah, there's not you don't really need to do a vehicle handling check here. It's basically designed if you can attune to it, you can pilot. Um, and yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to, you can do a check, but realistically, it's keep the coast on that side of the ship and go
hmm
this way, and you're good. Like
And
you
checks are
could,
typically for out of the ordinary situations
yeah.
anyway.
This seems like it would be hard to get lost, so you're good. No checks needed. Um, the first
I'll
day
let
of
you
sail,
know when we're going down some whitewater rapids.
you you'll realize it pretty quick. Um, the first day of sailing does go by pretty uneventfully. Waves breaking against the ship's massive hull as it powers forward. Um, for those of you who have been on ships before, like you've sailed around on this thing a lot, but it's almost been all river travel. it was hard to really grasp how much this thing just is indifferent to the normal sway that comes with sailing. It's it, the I feel like uh, normal elemental galleons have have a fair amount of that effect as well. But this one in particular, just the size, what it's made of, just you feel like just a iron fist or something just pushing through the water. Um, but yeah, navigation, like I said, it's just you just keep the shoreline on the left side of the ship. And apologies for not using nautical terms, but I feel like that would just be one person mispronouncing it and most people not caring. So, um, but yeah, yeah, the first day is pretty uneventful, and you get your full 112 miles in. What you hear? Yeah. The at that point, the energy pretty quickly seems to blow out, so to speak, and the elementals start to lose energy, and uh, it would be time to let her stop. Oh, and actually, I forgot to add this. I'll have to add it in there. Um, you can push pat like you can basically make the thing continue forward after the 8 hours, but it's you run the risk of like blowing the elemental strut out and releasing the bound elementals.
Right.
Which I figured this isn't that kind of scenario, but should I should add that in from what you were asking earlier. You can make it go longer. It's just you run a risk of basically engine overheating. So or
Yeah.
engine growing legs and walking away, something like that.
Do water elementals have legs?
Good point. Turn back into turn back into a wave and try and drown you. Larboard. The term is larboard.
That's it's the ship's left side if you're facing facing the yep.
All right, sure, I'll believe you.
You won't know why I know that. You won't believe it.
I assume something to do with Sean's game, but
No, it's from Final Fantasy.
oh, okay, nerd. All right, so yeah, the sun is setting and your ship is kind of dead in the water. Uh, it doesn't move a ton, even without dropping anchor. When the power sort of goes out, so to speak. Outside, like if you do it in the middle of a hurricane or a major storm, then yeah, it's still gonna slosh around. But near the coast like this, you're relatively okay as long as you're not right next to the shore to have it tip over or something. Um, but yeah, once again, after 8 hours of travel, you have the rest of the evening. And to be honest, for everyone but the person piloting, like you have the whole day. You can just use it for downtime shit if you want to do downtime activities. It's days of like sitting in the big metal tub. Um, but I will.
Pickle study the silver flame more, and then perhaps tell spooky stories.
Okay. I feel like Pick's probably very good at spooky stories. Well, you're really good at the content. Like the content is
Yeah,
legitimately spooky. It just might be the presentation might
yeah,
take away some of the spookiness.
yeah.
But,
But she does her best, and if
yeah,
people are bored,
I don't
Yeah,
think
the-
they'd
Lamp
be
was
bored. It's just
mysteriously turned off.
it comes out
no,
like
just
ugly.
bored enough to listen to the story. Like,
Oh,
let's
yeah,
go
yeah,
see
yeah.
what Pick's story's like. Pick story time.
That's fair. Um,
Yeah, I mean, plus a lot of the rest of the party has experience with spooky things. Like Purser's done some number of exorcisms.
Ooh,
yeah.
she'd like those spooky stories too.
Ludger was a Karn. Bemmy.
It has.
Bemmy's would probably just be like that horrifying childhood trauma thing where like kids tell you their childhood, like that guy you were telling us about that was in the army that you were like, he didn't know. He would just share his it was someone else telling me that.
No,
They
no,
had
that
an
was
army
that was
friend
No,
me.
he was
Yeah,
boxing. He was
that was
boxing
you.
with his dad.
yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't teaching you boxing, Rob. Like,
Yeah.
man, I don't know how to tell you this. That type of
Remy
thing.
just tells a story and just without context, he's like, wow.
Yeah.
So it's different flavors of horror.
Yeah, yeah. I'll leave the particularly personal stories up to Bemi, but I feel like, oh yeah, Meemaw had me go and, collect payment from somebody who she'd done a favor for. The woman was a widow who, wanted to talk with her husband one last time, blah blah blah. Now I have now she's got this cool coral flute. It's like made of black coral, something like that. Things like that. But yeah, like as the night goes on and you guys kind of huddle around the ever burning light of the silver flame from various sources, um, the in the evening, like because I imagine, especially since none of you have gone to bed yet, uh, you do occasionally like peek over the edge of the ship or just something to watch for, and just glancing down, you see beneath the ship are what looks like hundreds of very faintly glowing fish skeletons swimming at speed, like just going by in just a huge shoal of fish skeletons, or what looks like them swimming.
Hmm.
Is that normal?
No,
Not any
Person
more
just
than
goes
here.
apoplectic at that question.
I better. I'm the foreigner. I'm the new guy. Is this normal on this fucking continent?
Lady
Do I
Wayrub,
know? Can I make
uh,
a? Oh, I guess
yeah,
if
you
Lady
could give me
Wayrub was.
a nature check. Your people typically avoid water because
Yeah, I
moss,
was like,
but
I'm not
yeah,
coastal and
yeah,
water bad, but
you can give me a check. Lady Wayrub mostly just watches Purser's like sputtering with an amused expression.
This place is quite exotic. Maybe undead are common here, for all I know.
I mean,
it could just be that
of a
part
certain
of them
kind.
glows.
Rarity has nothing to do with normality.
I mean, something that's common is kind of considered normalized.
Nature. With a 20, you think you've heard of like magic ghost in the waters, but it's secondhand. Um, and like as you mentioned it, something about like ghost fish. And Lady Wayrub like nods when you say that. And says, that's correct. I'm impressed that you uh know that, Lady Cha. Those are ghost tuna. Um, Ignore the name. They're
Ghost.
not any kind of undead.
Person's just like mouthing the word in utter bafflement.
Ghost tuna.
It sounds more eloquent in Elvish.
Oh, they're not actually dead. They're like see-through, I guess.
Spooky
Yeah,
sandwich.
the scales are partially ethereal, making them translucent from most distances. They taste incredible, and from what I've heard, fetch a grand price. I've only eaten them a few times since we usually have to get them by trading with the southern tribes.
All right, I'll get the net.
What moron gives a fish ethereal scales? They're useless.
So they can
He just
Nature?
stares at.
in,
I'm not
so they can probably just
sure.
hide.
I don't think the honored agents made them, but perhaps.
Like, what do they need to protect from ghost sharks?
Well,
I,
if you
I
can't
don't.
see them, it's hard to eat them.
But yeah, she once again she just seemed a little bit amused with like how confused Purser is by
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Purser, as the resident academic, is just concerned.
This is outrageous.
The academic can't get it, but like the down-to-earth monks, like, oh, it's can't see them, can't eat them. That
Cool.
makes sense.
Yeah,
We
I mean
can
we live
see
in the.
them. They're right there.
Well, we have to get right in front of them to see them.
Have you ever seen a tuna?
Yes. They don't have ethereal scales, though.
Have you actually seen a tuna?
Yeah,
They're big.
they're pretty big.
The person just like can't get it through to him. Like, it's
Spooky fish.
I'm
By the way,
assuming the
does he
dinging
know,
is Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Scott.
Yeah, that's continuing issues. But yeah, it's
So you
give
know,
me yeah.
Mr. Balthazar does have a smirk on his face as he's
Yeah,
explaining
he's just egging him on at this point. That's fair. Um, so fishing off the side of this ship is a little tricky just because of the sheer distance between the water and the deck, but it's certainly doable. Um, uh, do you have like a net or fishing equipment of any sort, or I mean, even just rope you could try. It might be harder with improvised equipment, but it's possible.
Yeah, I'll try with improvise. Unless we have a net, someone has a net.
Do we have a little bit of gas left in the elementals? Because they are like rings of elemental water that I assume stretch into the water.
You could it would be the equivalent of turning them on, but yeah, you could turn it on and see if like you can pull some up through it. Absolutely.
We
Like,
rev the engine and suck them through the pipe.
yeah, you could do that.
I
Oh my
think I'll just eviscerate them.
Yeah, it's still fishing. You just use this dynamite. Yeah, go ahead. Like,
It works.
you know what? If you turn it on, I'm just gonna roll. Pick even or odd, Purser.
Yeah, if there's any chance of it being catastrophically bad, I'm not
No,
gonna
no,
do it.
no. There's no catastrophic failure option here. It's just a matter
Okay.
of like if it will catch anything.
Okay. So I'll pick even.
Okay. In that case, most of them seem to have a sixth sense about avoiding maybe there's just to a animal in the water, there's maybe there's some kind of tell when a water elemental starts interfering or just moving itself or moving its essence through the water.
Or there's a
But
cargo ship suddenly turning.
yeah, but that's not enough. About three of them do get sort of sucked into the engine, so to speak, and pulled up through. Um, this is not terribly uncommon, in the sense that usually wildlife just goes through a slip and slide ride and is very confused when it's spit out the other end. But if you basically turn it on and watch very carefully, and then just turn it off when they're halfway through the loop, the three full size big tuna, mostly translucent, fall out, as the elemental ring basically loses power and just becomes water. As the seawater rains down, three huge tunas slam into the deck, and yeah, you have
Goes to attack them.
yeah. I I'm not that ridiculous. They're tuna.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's out of the water. It's a ball of hit
Yep.
points. Um,
If this was
so
a smaller boat, it could be problematic, but
yeah, just from the weight of it
This is for
slamming into the boat.
funsies.
But
I mean,
yeah,
tuna are strong fish. They have
yes,
capsized boats.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Well,
They're
good thing you
pretty
have a
ridiculous
guy with
predators.
magical arms to handle them.
Yeah, exactly. But
And a
yeah,
magical wand of binding.
he could he could do various binding patterns on the fish. But either way, you have three full-size tuna. Let me look up how much meat that is. That's a lot.
Mm.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that probably a
We're
couple
gonna be
100
good.
pounds.
We're gonna be good for food for weeks. It's gonna rot way before we finish it.
I mean, we could honestly just drop them off in Mishann.
Yeah,
Hey
apparently.
guys, we brought you 2,000 pounds of fish.
Okay, yeah.
You're a
So,
delicacy.
Pacific bluefin tuna, which is basically what this is based off of, can weigh around 130 pounds. Yellowfin tuna can weigh up to 400. The largest can weigh over 1,500. So, we'll go off typical to ghost tuna. We'll say it's about 450 pounds of ghost tuna that you guys
Awesome.
have on deck.
Yeah, we can start gutting them and get them packed away and drop
Yeah, I
them
mean
off.
you've
Oh
got
my
the
god.
time.
Do we have a fish tank?
I have a high
You guys-
survival skill and very cool that set
Alarms.
for taking things apart.
Oh yeah, that's
Mm.
true. You could literally like actually in this like those work. Um, I mean, could you put the wording up for those tools again? I'm kind of curious about how they interact with something that's innately ethereal,
Let's
like
see.
because they kind of phase through things and allow them to.
I don't know if you gave me the. Where are
I
you?
think I did. It's fine. We'll say it's not super relevant, but
It's just magic mortuary tools that I added to my inventory, but
I do have it
as
somewhere,
an
but
item.
I'll look it up later. But yeah, I'd say it works, but as you do it, like if you use those tools too long, your arms start like the ethereal effect starts to spread up your arms, and like you drop the tools as your arms go intangible briefly. Um, it seems like
Finds
they interact very strangely.
finds that
Oh,
very
I
exciting and goes to get Purser, but doesn't explain it. Waits until her arm goes ethereal and then attempts to put her arm through his leg for fun.
So
Mhm.
while
Yeah, right.
Purser's just
You're right.
gutting, like doing the Game of Thrones gutting a deer type thing, he's hacking up this ghost tuna. Hick, you just run up and like ram ethereal arm into his leg. Yeah.
Giggles maniacally,
I have an
returns to her
idea.
business.
So Purser recognizes that feeling, of course, as a sign of like imminent ghost incursion, and he like he draws his sword and wheels around, seeing Pick with elbows deep in Purser's leg.
She's like, fish make my arm go through. Grins, runs off.
So
I
that
have
was.
a question.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna ask a fisher thing. It's about the fish.
Uh-huh. Okay. About the fish.
When I use my my stando powers, and like grab the thing with my like ethereal, like I forgot what they are. This perfectly touch
They're
don't work with
they're
it.
astral self things. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know what they're labeled, but
There's
whatever
there's
work.
no issue when you go to grab them with that. Like it works very like it actually works a little better than part of why cutting them is takes a while is because you're never exactly sure where you're cutting. Like they even dead the phasing effect is somewhat there for a little while. So you're the only one who can just handle them normally. Um,
I don't know if I can use fine tools with these hands, but who
I would
knows?
say so
It-
for flavor's sake.
They're just extra hands, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
It's D&D. They don't really mention anything except you can kill things with it.
yeah, I'm fine going out that you can do dexterous things. That's not a problem. But yeah, so give me uh everybody who's working on it, give me a survival check, and we'll just do it. It's a group survival for like the
I'm
worst
actually
comes
okay
to
with
worst, is
those.
some of it gets a little ruined, but
15.
okay, it's not bad at all. 25, that is good. 9, that is to be fair, you were fisted without permission. It caught you off guard. And Scott, do you have is Ludger taking part?
Is Luker talking? It's our first question we should ask.
Yeah, he's been suspiciously quiet.
Testing,
Hmm.
testing.
Oh,
Yeah, I heard that.
so
If
if
you've
you're
been
Good.
gonna,
talking, we haven't been ignoring you.
Yeah, we just didn't hear
No,
the.
it wasn't that. It was I was mid cracker when you
Ah,
asked.
okay.
So
Okay, fair enough.
My husband
Are
did
you?
just arrive with our nachos, so I might be quiet for a minute.
That's
Mhm.
fair. Are you doing survival-y stuff?
I think Ludger would abstain because he's never done this before. So
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so that.
he is curious because I imagine like it wasn't super common, but occasionally like part of his rations would have been like canned fish and the like. So
Yeah.
it's he's curious on how it actually gets to this point.
Yeah. So with a 16 on average, that is plenty, you guys. There's no catastrophic failures, and you're able to preserve, or not even preserve, but just like properly prepare all of these potent fish. And yeah, you now have about little under like about 400 and I'm not gonna say well about you have about 420 pounds of ghost tuna, um, suitable
Great.
for selling and
How,
eating.
how do we store it?
We just
Nice.
keep it on the carcass. Like we don't even have to carve it off or anything. We just drop it off and give it to Mishann.
Yeah, yeah,
Alright.
it's
And
2 days, so
Lady Waver upstate, this is like a delicacy for Drows, correct?
yeah, she just said it tastes really incredible.
We should carve a little piece out for us to
I was
try.
gonna say we should
Yeah.
probably maybe everyone will have this for dinner now. We got plenty to spare.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, if you guys want to have like fresh as possible toonie steaks tonight, um, I'm not gonna like make anyone do cooking checks. Yeah, you can put them together, and it is actually for those of you who've had fish before, which I think is about everybody. It is probably some of the best fish you've ever had. Just really, really good. They're like after dinner, there is kind of an odd effect where everyone who ate,
Gonna say
uh, your skin takes on a shimmering, ghostly pallor at night. That night, um, there's a sort of like vague, very faint grayish white glow to your skin.
Mm.
nothing like it's just cosmetic. We all look like
Pure
Elric tonight.
cosmetic, and it's fading by the end of the night. But
We all look
yeah,
like Elric for like 10 minutes.
yeah, a little bit. Um,
Is it a
Or
magical effect that I can identify to suss some more information out?
sure. Yeah. I would say doing so it is purely cosmetic. It just seems to be a residual effect um, of sort of you're consuming something that had adapted to swimming in waters that are hide to duller. So
Mm.
the effect is basically sort of a dispersal of that energy. That's
Okay.
a coherent explanation, I guess. And yeah, that's the long and short of it. It's not harmful in any way, not really beneficial, other than you look neat, I guess. Um, but yeah, you're all a little
damn
bit
here
glow in
for
the
a night.
dark.
Now, is there any indication that if we like concentrated and magnified the effect, would it be detrimental or beneficial?
Um, so since the effect seems to be kind of in the flesh itself, if you concentrated the oil or something like that, you might be able to come up with a recipe for oil of etherealness type thing.
Ah, okay.
If you're willing
Got
to,
plenty of
the
oil
the
and
smell
fat.
might be kind of unpleasant, but you could definitely get that going if you find the right recipe.
It's definitely something to keep in mind for later. I am an alchemist after all.
Yeah, and you have a buddy who'd be happy to work on new recipes if you just bring some of that Corvair knowledge. In
Mm.
Gwen in Gwenedgel, he'd be happy to help you work on a recipe.
Yeah,
Um,
we've got a lot of spinning plates at the moment.
but yeah, it's other than that, nothing really noteworthy happens that night. You're out in the waters, which seem calm and peaceful, devoid of monstrosities, at least, from your perspective. Ah, okay. Zach may be with us. Work had him out till about 7 last night. He just got up. Okay,
Mm.
that is fair.
And the next morning, I will resummon Redemptor, just in case.
Horse on a boat. Fair enough. Um,
I'm not going to leave him behind.
And much like the the socks stuff, whatever Bemmy bought, I'll save him a serving, of course.
I mean, he's there with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for when for if he joins, I'll have it ready for him.
He's just really quiet and T-posing.
Yeah, it's in food stasis right now until he actually joins.
That's fair.
But yes, it's like yes, Bebby's like what was that video? It's like that Fallout 4 mod video where Preston Garvey's just frozen.
Oh yeah. I mean, hey, it's you have enough. You could dine on this the rest of the way there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're able to once again. Shore stays on this side. We go this way. We're able to get to about here. Well into Sea Spray Bay. I say bay, but it's way fucking bigger than that. Whatever. Um, and yeah, you're not there yet, but you're getting a lot closer to Mishann.
I
And
mean, pretty sure it's smaller than Hudson Bay, so.
yeah, absolutely. Um, listen, with Eberron map scale, I did what I could. I was determined that it be like accurate to the original landmass shape, but I do what I can. Um, so the once again, you're coming in there. It's sort of settle down for the night. Did you guys want to do any watch? Yeah, I've been letting it go, like whether you do or don't, it's not an issue. But did you want to do any particular watch? It seems relatively peaceful on the waves.
I mean, Pick's always up anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Bemmy
Pick,
only does 4
but
hours.
yeah, between Pick and Bemmy, it's just just kind of linger and mill about, but nothing attacks. And on the third day, you are able to come in, I would say, probably about mid-afternoon. You're able to come into the makeshift harbor of Mishann. And let me put you in the area. Let me zoom out a little bit here. There we go. You guys are coming in this way. And yeah, it's like I said, about late afternoon, and it is the third day of uh, the Thurendor. Am I saying that right? The third day of Thurendor, second month of the new year. And yeah, it's evening almost. It's not even evening. I'd say it's like late afternoon. Um, and docking at Mishann as you guys kind of come in, it looks like it's still intact. No, horrible fires or giant demons breathing, energy on or something like that. And the number of tents has grown again, like on the outskirts, meaning that more settlers have arrived with this month's mail. That also means that Nat should have your money from selling the artifacts you found in Karakos.
Ah, perfect.
So yeah, I assume actually I should probably put you in like the pseudo doc here. What do you guys want to do?
Well, first, we've got like 400 pounds of fish. We need to get to someone that knows how to work with it.
Yeah, that's fair. If you say that it's ghost tuna and like are able to communicate that to the lizard folk fishermen who know what it is and the human fishermen who like, you know, they like the tuna part. Um, yeah, immediately can get into the hands of people. Are you just giving this, or is this like hey, this is worth some money type thing?
Purser is along the lines of just giving it to the people.
Yeah,
Pick is the same.
especially considering how relatively sus this tuna is, considering like it's like we caught it like a day or two ago. Like,
Well,
Okay,
I'm sure we have
that's fair. That's fair.
preservation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like money is like super available. Like there's no bustling trade yet.
No, and these fishermen aren't wallowing in it, so to speak. So,
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
we'll
that
get
just
some favors and
yeah,
get some promises of help later.
you are enormously popular on the docks. Like the lizard folk already liked you, and the Mishan folk are they like you in the way that townsfolk like adventurers, which is to say they're cautious because you're kind of crazy and very powerful. But yeah, like everybody will be drinking to you tonight,
Yeah.
as those are brought overboard, and just very good PR moment. Um, and yeah, beyond that, what else would you like to do?
Well, I think the first thing we should do is talk to the governess and say, "Hey, we're going to be taking like 50 to 100 soldiers." That was the word I was looking for.
Okay,
And be like, "Hey, we're doing a thing, and we're gonna get some more allies."
it'll be fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair. Trust me, it'll be so cool. Yeah. All right.
And then,
Uh,
then like a week later,
Yeah.
they see us going the other way.
Yeah. In and out, 20-minute adventures.
yeah, you weeping. Okay. Well, right now, so the official forces that um she's a little surprised at that, but given that you guys helped get that together. Hey Zach, how you feeling?
Hey,
Hey.
I am. I
Tired.
am so yeah.
Yeah.
You,
We
you're
got you
good, man.
tuna.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, you got it.
We
Um,
got you some tuna.
we did.
You got me
Yeah.
tuna.
Big tuna kahuna.
We
Yeah.
got
Don't
ghost tuna. Would you like some?
don't play games with my heart like that.
Giant ghost tuna steaks, man. It's a thing that happened in game.
Yo, that is awesome.
It
And
makes your
Purser caught
skin
them all
glow.
by himself.
Oh,
He
and this
did.
map looks great.
Oh yeah,
He
it did get
did.
updated.
He turned on the engine and sucked in the tuna into the engine and then turned it off. That was how he got them.
All right.
A wizard is always prepared.
They do the most ho-dunk shit I've ever seen in my life.
Still fishing.
I wasn't gonna watch everyone like jury rig like spears and ropes.
No, we have technology. But yeah, so you got some toonie steaks. You've been eating them for the last 2 days, so you might be feeling a little tired of them, but they make your skin glow at night. Um,
I don't know how I
and
feel about that.
they
Nice, it's a
technically
nice
they're also
glow.
translucent. Like you can barely see the actual flesh of these things. Um, they're like you see the skeleton of the fish. Everything else is semi-translucent. So
I was gonna say there's a look. Yeah, I guess it looks like those like fish who live really deep underwater. We can literally just see their skeleton.
yeah, there's an element of that. But it's very good. But
All
yeah,
right.
you guys just got back to Mishann, a pretty uneventful sailing trip, and the party decided to give away the rest of the tuna to the fishermen at the docks because one, there's not a lot of money to be like the fishermen don't have money to really pay for something that is a legit delicacy, and two, it has been out of the water for 2 days. The party was like,
Uh,
uh,
all right.
so, um, but you're back in, and Purser was just setting up something with the governess, saying, "Hey, we're gonna need 100 or so guys to go do things," uh, which she was surprised about, but you helped get them. Um, she would say that so right now the way the military situation here, so to speak, defensive forces of Mishan, there are 125 House Deneath Blade Mark soldiers, um, which the number that will be joining Mishan as full citizens is probably about 100 of that. Um, Probably a little over 100 actually. Most of them are. There's only a couple like career house members there. Um, what we would say is real house members. Like these guys, I know House Deneath does like independent contracts with people who aren't actually part of the house, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh, all the
Um,
time.
yeah. There are 60 Sulatar warriors from Clan Wayrub and Olenquai. There are 50 light infantry militia who were there initially, like locals who you guys were kind of drilling into basic military skills. The kind of guys who have like a hunting spear and a shield and like a leather jerkin to throw on. And Ludger's unit of, I think right now, actually with another group coming in, the number would go up to 16. He has 16 of his brave Karnathi forces, who
Okay,
are
so
totally legit.
we have some quote unquote knights and vassals now. Okay.
Yeah, you have some forces. It's up to you how many of them you want to send away from the settlement. And Sulatar warriors might be I mean, they'd be willing to poke at another clan. They wouldn't be thrilled about like freeing slaves from mines, but they'd be willing to help with it. But they're not willing to send more than half their total guys. Just they trust you, but they're drow. Like they're
Right.
drow from a feudal society. They're not willing to completely gut their own defenses. Like
No, that makes sense.
they believe you're not going to turn on them, but on the other hand, they're going to keep half their blades here.
I'm even fine just asking for volunteers. Like,
Okay.
we're earning allies all across the island, and they need our help break free of their Verwick Pact overlords. And like, this is what Mishann needs. This is what you need.
Okay. Give me a persuasion check with advantage. Like this is, I mean, even if you get a bad roll, there's no negative effect here. It's just like how much you're able to use the pulpit speak that you've been working on.
I wish I was
Oh
dead.
shit!
Well, yeah,
Wow.
it's a busy day. There's not a lot of people around to hear you.
Hey,
It is
I'm
a
a
good
generous
speech.
soul. I'm a generous soul. If you want it, you can have it.
And
Oh,
it's not like I'm not going to the people. Like, go to Ludger's
Could roll that
guys.
natural
We go
nat
to the
20 and
Drow.
mobilize the country in like 10 minutes.
Mm, we're just talking to people.
yeah,
Big thing
just
is,
going around.
we're ultimately this is an aggressive action where they might not come back, and I don't want to like order people to do this or even pretend that I have the
Yeah.
power to order people around.
Yeah, I got you.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
I will say
We're very respectful.
Ludger, on Ludger's end, uh, I basically assume I can basically talk all my guys into, you know, hey,
Oh,
hey guys,
yeah.
you want to go
Whatever
truck
you
trade
tell
again?
them to do, they're doing, man. Like this, they
Yeah,
these are a bunch of shell-shocked vets. Like they're gonna listen to commanding officer. You're good.
yeah, like that, and like oh, thank God we can go on deployment again.
Yeah, these are
Uh,
shell-shocked vets who have like horrific PTSD laced with dementia. Like, yeah, that's the only thing that would make them feel comfortable.
I like how we got.
so
I love how
do,
we. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was about to add on. I was thinking about it, and I originally was going to leave one or two people back to watch my family, and I realized that probably the safest thing to do is literally just, have my family stay on a boat,
I get what you're saying.
and that still leave one or two people on the boat, but that way it's like uh basically they're not in the shot to be targeted and shit. Give me one
Okay.
second.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we still got that. Still got that lady who wants to do different things than us.
Yeah, there was the lady who was a little suspicious, the noble woman who you guys felt wasn't appropriately noble.
Saavedra, yeah.
Yeah, Saavedra. Yeah, she she did some flashy thing to Pick's brain,
Pick hates
and
this woman.
understandable. That would be a point of contention with most folks, I think. So yeah, just asking around for volunteers. I would say you'd comfortably get. Let's. Oh, I'll roll it. Why not?
Yeah, ultimately, the big distinction, as I see it, is the less people we have, the more they have to do to get the attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have
Yeah.
to take more risks and do more.
Yeah, and it's harder to do. You know, it's like it's to a point. Like if you were sending 1,000 people, like that would have its own problems. Just or 10,000, like the numbers would become a problem past that. But
If we had
yeah,
10,000 men, we'd solve a
there
lot of the
wouldn't be a
problems that we
problem. Yeah,
have.
like there wouldn't be. You wouldn't need to be playing diplomat. Yeah, yeah, like um. So interestingly enough, you get a total of 42 volunteers.
Okay.
Um, I will say here, let me get the number here. I'll officially write it down. Um, Out of that, uh, 15 are from the House Deneath forces. Technically, House Deneath forces, more like they're Cyrus soldiers who signed up with House Deneath.
Right.
15. Let's see what I say. And why isn't that showing me? There we go. There we go. You get a good 20 volunteers from the freed lizard folk slaves, who are not technically military, but they like once word gets out that that's what you're asking around for, they're they're down for this. Um, and I just realized that they should be included in the or no, yeah, no, it wouldn't be 20 because there's only 22 total. Let's say it's 12. 12 lizard folks. 12 lizard folk. Fighters or people capable of fighting. Oh, good. Decided not to work with me there. And where is it? And interestingly enough, 15 or no, wait. I just realized there's 16 of uh, Ludger's people. So if he's sending all of them, then there's your 42. Um,
Perfect.
I think that's 43.
The answer to life, the universe, and everything. 42.
I just rolled a D100 and that's what I got. So
I'm sticking with what I said.
I
I've got
know.
more.
I just think it's funny that yeah. 16.
It's all coming together.
Hey, I'm just saying, Purser, when you rolled your persuasion check, what'd you get? 2 and a 4.
Ah!
I mean, it's luckier than like a 1 and a 3.
It's true. It's true.
The
So
one
yeah.
luckier.
Um, there weren't any surprise, surprise. You guys, there hasn't been any super hostilities, but you didn't get any volunteers from the trial.
That's fair.
They're not about to like go help free slaves to loot and pillage and burn. They're
Ah.
kind of horrified at the concept.
Here's an angle. Not for this operation, but do any of Lord Olenquai's warriors want to go and join him?
Oh, that's a good point. Now, yeah, you would get volunteers for that, flat out. Because he
Going back.
has, like, in fact, now that almost you'd get out of 30, you'd get like 28 immediately. He has an incredible amount of loyalty because his crazy ass is always like he's on the front lines as much as possible with them. Like any fight they would get into, he would be pushing people out of the way, abusing rank to be in the front. So yeah, that makes it popular with this kind of thing. So he yeah, that would definitely be a way to get some of them to join up if you wanted to like gain some of them and send them like to go reinforce uh Gizbokul. If you wanted to do that, that would take away a significant number of clan warriors from Mishann, but I mean, that's
I
up
mean,
to you.
I'm not going to tell these people that, like, their liege lord stayed behind to fight an impossible fight and not give them the choice to go and help him.
I mean, yeah, like if it's Lady Wayward, I'm kind of pissed about that, but because she was trying to downplay it to not like lose the half of the Drow forces there. But yeah, if you want to mention that, that's definitely you're gonna get a ton of volunteers. Um, like now they will be splitting off from the main group heading toward
Yeah.
Gizbuckle, but
Yeah, I definitely don't want to make it seem like a trick to get more people for what we're doing. I'm
Mhm.
just saying we're going this way anyway.
Can we just?
What's the
that's fair.
raid?
There's like a hot second where Bemmy actually takes his mirror off of his belt and he wraps it up. He wraps it up in a cloth and puts it in his pocket real quick and goes,
Ah.
just remember everybody that Mimo asked if this place was gonna be safe,
Right.
if it was well protected. Okay, I'm sorry guys, but I have to do this. And then he reaches back into his pocket and unwraps it as fast as he can and then puts the mirror back on his belt.
Just hoping she doesn't notice for those.
It was smudgy. I had to clean it.
We'll see what she was
It
doing
just-
at the time.
It just starts ringing like a phone.
Okay, she was busy. All
Where are you?
No driving through tunnels. You know what that represents. But Mom, it takes 30 minutes off the drive. No tunnels. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and take like 2 of them will stay because they fucking like they actually have to just be clan reps. But yeah, out of 30, 28 Olin Quiet clan warriors are going to be reinforcing their clan head.
So, as far as Mima is concerned, Purser is of a mind that if he spent his entire life worrying about nebulous threats from ancient primevals,
He'd never get any
I-
sleep.
he'd never get anything done. Don't care about sleep. I got things to do.
Yeah. Yeah, in
I-
Eberron, it's kind of you can't throw a rock.
Now, I understand. I do. But you ain't lived the life I live. You ever been into Chokey?
Been into what?
See, that's exactly my point. You ain't never been in no Chokey. So,
Can you explain what that is?
I'm sorry, Bemmy. Your comment is terrible. I'm gonna need you to speak slower and with no accent, please.
have you ever been in the Chokey, sir?
I have not.
It is a terrible place that Mima will put you.
And what precisely is the Choki? Because I've been some terrible places.
Hey, really?
Yes.
Goodness gracious. It's like, it depends. All I know is that it's about the size of a closet. Sometimes it's big on the inside.
Okay.
It depends on the day. It depends on how mad she is. Now, if Mimo made pancakes for breakfast, it was going to be a good day. Point is, look, I know you don't want to worry about Mimo, but the fact that I am here helping you, maybe we should be worried about Mimo.
Don't mistake me. I am definitely worried about Mima.
Okay?
I just don't want to be. And frankly, I'm not sure if we can do anything about it. And
Yeah.
any of her friends, I assume no defenses would be enough. At least none that we can manage in a short time. Could be a Baylor for all I know.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Guess I'm just a warrior.
Me too, Benny.
So like to just kind of add on, Bemmy, not all most of Mima's visitors weren't friends. Most of them were people like coming to buy information or souls or some weird knickknack,
Okay.
or favors. But so it could have just been Joe Drow. Like it could have just been a random Drow who wanted that information. There's no guarantee it was another ancient immortal. Hopefully it wasn't, but like
That's fair.
just for context for Bemmy's sake.
But I'm also thinking back to, we let go an angel who was bad. We
That's true. I mean, I'm not saying that it wasn't a horrible ancient immortal. She does work with it. She does do business with them occasionally. Work would be a
okay.
strong term, but not all of them are. She gets even more. Like honestly, the majority of her visitors are like really desperate people who are like following trails about a horrible legend. So, um,
So it could have just been Donnie Drow, been like, I gotta take my chance. I gotta go see this old woman.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. Like,
Pretty much.
yeah.
That's where Billy Drow Bob came from.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly. He was cursed to babble like an idiot. But
Can't help it.
he
Sometimes you
he
can't.
took his
I
voice.
understand.
He was the reverse Little Mermaid. But
Ooh.
um, yeah. So it looks like you guys have a pretty sizable force that will be loading up on the ship and setting out and dropping them off at uh Elra, and then turning around and coming back to pick you guys up for your big trip to the other island. Um, is like when do you want that to set out? Because you still have, a few hours left in the tank, so to speak. You got in before the full 8 hours was used up. You had less than 112 miles to go, so.
Yeah, we might as well wait for the full charge before setting out. Give
Okay.
people some time to prepare and like get everything ready.
Okay. Fair enough. And if I remember correctly, you wanted to stay here until it came back, right? Was that like you're gonna hang out in Mishann while the ship
Yes.
goes? Okay, cool.
Ship goes, drops them off, comes back and grabs us was my plan.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, exactly who's like what did we manage to get for like the strike force?
Okay. So you've got this is why I was writing it down because I knew I would not remember it. You have 15 House Deneath soldiers, they're basically Irish military. Uh 12 Lizard Folk fighters who were like very enthusiastic. They're probably the weakest as far as actual um combat ability, but they're the most enthusiastic. Um, your unit, which is 16 people, if you want to send all of them, or 15 if you want to leave off the token human. Um, and
Uh,
yeah,
specifically because she was never like trained officer.
yeah, she is going with you.
Definitely,
I just wasn't sure. Um,
yeah.
and
Is that
Purser, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no? I was about to ask if that was all the people on the raid.
That's all the people on the raid. Purser pointed out and was able, like, much to Lady Wayrub's irritation,
Yeah.
he was able to get out of 30 Olenquai clan warriors, he got 28 to, like, the moment they found out their clan had stayed in Gizbalkul, they were like, they didn't volunteer, they just started getting on the boat, basically. And yeah, like they're going to split off from the group that's going to go and try and like raid mines, and they're just going to head right towards Gizbalkul to try and reinforce basically die with their clan head if anything happens.
Okay.
So
So since we're going to be in town for a minute,
yep,
you
3 days.
I originally thought we were going to be on the boat as well before like doubling back, but
I
we're
mean,
not.
so we
Uh,
certainly can be, but Purser's worried about like we're removing a lot of the military power. What if the whoever Lady Saavedra is tries to pull something while it's all out of town?
yeah, fair enough. So in that case, Ludger isn't going to try to split the party. So what he does instead is he, especially to his second in command, and them, what he starts basically organizing is he basically decides to have, you know, he kind of starts going over the plans that he's been making with the two team. It sounds like it's going to probably be like best chance two teams,
Okay.
and as part of that, what he basically pitches is the lizard folk are going to be split in two and attached to the two like uh the Carnathi and the Cyrus units,
Okay.
and basically,
They're the friendly face when the mines get popped open, so that the lizard folk
yeah,
slaves aren't like,
that
"Who are
and
you?"
basically guys that can like coordinate with any freed warriors and the like, to so on and so forth. And as part of this, Luger is also going to basically start coming up with a basic plan of what they should be doing on a boat. He's going over all the plan now, but he definitely emphasizes the equivalence of like the I mean, it wouldn't be like glass houses, but the equivalent of like basic wargaming, where you know sort of stuff he learned at Reich and Mark, where like do a simulated iteration, and like for one exercise, like while the commanding officers were walking through the plan, the second in commands would like uh basically take control of like op 4 and like kind of war game it out. So like they not only are guys on the team getting an idea of trying to think of what the enemy might do while they're on this raid, since they are role playing the enemy, they also like routinely switch. So like the next iteration, the second in commands will be in charge of like the war gamed forces, while the commanders will take the spot of the op 4. That way, in addition to getting an idea of what the enemy might do, it also gives some of the more junior officers a chance to like simulate being in command. Obviously, there's only so much they can do because they're stuck on a boat, but like this basic amount of stuff to like do it
Training
over and over and
exercises
over
during
again.
the 3 days
Yeah,
of sailing.
yeah,
I get you. I get you.
yeah.
Okay.
Basically organizing it like that, and definitely emphasizing that like one team will be led by like a Cyrus guy, uh, and the other will be run by actually have her name right here. The token human.
Yeah, no, I know who you mean. The she was the one who helped you set it up.
Yeah.
Cool, cool.
So
Um, yeah.
yeah, yeah, Dunkelwald.
Okay. Yeah, that's makes perfect sense, and that is probably a good thing to do with all these people trapped on the ship for 3 days on this tub as it heads north. Something to keep them occupied, if nothing else. And it'll definitely come in handy with some severe cultural and like species barriers, linguistic, cultural, and actual species barriers,
Yeah,
with all these guys working together. So that's a good idea. Um, and it'll definitely help in the roles that I will be doing to see how that works out. That's a sound
yeah.
plan.
And to emphasize it, Ludger would still uh he's going to tell one or two of his guys to, stay on the boat when the others get dropped off. And when they come back, that's when Hala and his children will go on the boat. That way, like when the party leaves, Mishann, his family isn't like in Mishann because even with the bodyguards, that still leaves a chance.
So, is your family coming with you to Cusp Island? Is that what I'm getting, or?
They would stay on the boat
Okay.
when we
Oh, okay. So
disembark
you're
in Kolcusp.
okay. So when you're heading for
With
Cusp from
yeah,
Mishan,
yeah,
I got you. Okay.
with one or two bodyguards staying on the boat after we get off. That way, like
Okay.
you
So
know,
of your
you
men,
know,
it'll be -2, we'll say. So 14 of Ludger's unit instead of 16. Okay. Fair enough.
yeah.
That is no problem. Let's see. Let me up that, I think. 86. There we go. But yeah, that sounds good. And is there anything else anybody would like to do today? Oh, you may want to go and pick up the
Money.
money that is owed to you from Nat, the little goblin shop owner.
And the
And
mail.
yeah, as you guys are going, usually you guys don't get a ton of mail, but somebody does stop by and give Purser a pretty thick envelope.
Yeah, and Purser's just spending some time reading through it.
Cool, cool.
It's he does that thing where like he scans through it really quickly, and then he has to like go back, and he's like really like getting in close. He's like pulling out a notebook and scribbling, and it's like referring, and he's
Wizard
deep into
things.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will share with the party as soon as I completely digest everything.
That's fair.
There's a lot going on here.
He got a book in the mail.
Really
Thick
thick
letter.
letter.
Oh, I mean that
Big
might as well
fancy
be a
seal.
book.
Um, but yeah, heading to Nat's shop. Um, let's see. Okay, going to Nat's shop. It is cluttered and crowded as always, with loaded shelves reaching up to the ceiling, bins full of various goods. They're probably organized, but it's one of those, like, if it's organized, you know, it's like kobold organization tactics. Like, no, the things that taste like copper are here, and the things that are tingly here, or there is an organization to it, but it's beyond Nat herself. Who knows? Um, for her part, Nat is not like going into the shop. The little bell rings, and you don't see her anywhere initially. But usually she comes when you call her. Hard to see her under pile of things. Um,
Nah.
Hello?
ah, yeah, calling out. You do see a messy bun and set of ears pop out from the edge of a high shelf, and followed by the rest of Nat as she looks down. Oh, ah, you're back, and not dead. Nat has your new shiny coins if you still want them. And she like awkwardly knocking down a couple crates, half climbs, half falls down from the top of the rack where she was doing something, and scampers behind the counter and comes out with a sack of shinies. Um, now, let's see. She has for you the sale minus, the take and all that. I will put it in party loot. 722 gold pieces from
Not
the
bad.
various um, doodads and whatnot. And I wasn't sure in the recording, Purser mentioned sending giant coins to be basic, like, yeah, you can spend it because it's precious metal, but trying to like basically sell the coins in the same way you would sell like, an ancient Roman coin. Yes, it's made of this, but it's more valuable because it's so and so. You had mentioned in the recording, but not in the uh, document that you were kind enough to keep.
So
You said
that was
373
because.
gold.
So you followed up with that by saying that it was just regular coinage that we could just
Yeah,
use here.
it's treated as regular coinage, like you can treat it as. I was just wondering if you went ahead with that, or if you were like, oh no, if we can just use it as coins, we're just going to use it as coins.
I would have gone through with selling it
Okay,
abroad just
then
because
in that
it's like
case,
they're dinner plates.
yeah, it's not convenient. So in that
Yeah.
case, it is not
How
722 gold pieces. It
how big is
is
one of them? Like across in inches, roughly. Do we know?
a giant coin is, I would say, like not quite hubcap sized, but dinner plate legitimately. Like that's that's why I just give you, like, when I said coins, I just said the equivalent value in like a so
Okay.
and so coinage. But if you took that and sold, that many giant coins, instead of 722, you got 1522, um,
Okay.
1522 gold pieces for selling giant coinage, basically.
I'll do some quick math and divvy that out.
Yeah, so
Instead of,
that's
oh my gosh, that's like. Well, you know what, Purser? Out of anybody to sell this beautiful stuff to a museum, you'd be the one.
A private collector by the name of Lucien Vance.
Uh,
hmm. Only good things will come from this. Um, but yeah, it's a pretty sizable take for just selling. I mean, what were you gonna do with like a shift weave robe the size of, suitable for a 20-foot tall giant with like
Tablecloth.
11 custom funeral outfits built into it, or a giant crystal ball arcane focused giant size, shit like that. A spell shard containing mostly bad ancient poetry. Like, it's interesting, but
I
um
would have 100% rocked that robe.
it would be a very, very elaborate cape for you. Uh,
Pick could have hung it up around the entire inside of her nest and just been able to change the entire inside color at whim.
it's a tent. Like for pick, that is straight up a tent. Like that's a good
It's
It's just
surface
sized
ten.
tent.
it's wall
Yeah,
decor. It's like
yeah,
the whole inside is lined with effectively fabric wallpaper. And since it's
yeah,
shift weave, it's like I can make my nest whatever
y-
color the shift weave can be.
yeah, exactly. Um, but selling it did get you some money. Um, and Yeah, and Nat just adds in, if if you want to spend any, I still have very lots of very good things, very good things, and even some very bad things, but very cheap things.
Ooh,
And yeah, like anything in the standard, any mundane equipment you can buy here at Nat's, should you have the desire to do so. Um, and
Digger, what do your small people like if they are going to be on the boat?
Oh, small people. I get it. That legit took me a minute. I was thinking like halflings. I was like, there's not that many halflings here yet.
I think we have one.
Yeah, there's definitely one at
He worked in a
least.
brothel.
Yeah, yeah. He
From the looks
literally.
of it, not much.
No, he had customers, but
No, no. I didn't say not much work. I said not much stuff.
oh yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they literally dressed him up in like noble savage outfit. That was his routine. It's like the cop outfit that a stripper would have. But uh, yeah, it's all available for sale there. Foods, goods, think whatever. Um, but as you guys go outside, Purser divvying out the coinage, uh, Rosalind Rostrin Well, that rhymes, kind of. The noble archaeologist that you've previously met waves you down as she sees you leaving Nats. Says, "Hello there. Could I have a moment of your time?
Of course. What can we do
Uh,
for you?
I assume you were in there collecting the shinies, as Nat was fond of saying. She apparently counted them to make sure, but she was well. She likes you, but I don't think she would have been terribly depressed if you were to not come back and it just fell into her hands. She spoke about it quite at length, but that was a bit of a tip off, and I'm assuming you were the ones responsible for the recent sale of artifacts in Sharn and such, right?
Yes.
Ah,
At least some small portion of artifacts.
well, small in a way, but I don't know if you what you brought was well, it was a formerly only referenced. We've had no direct artifacts from the uh, city state of the dead. So, um, well, Morgrave University is deeply interested in what you're discovering here on the Capiran Islands. Um, actually, Professor Danigan and Gerthan actually had a bit of a brawl over who could examine the robes that we purchased in the auction first.
Ah,
Um, so, the president of the university, uh, Larian or Morgrave himself, asked me to extend to you an offer. Well, to your adventuring group, I'm assuming that's what you are. Uh, we would appreciate having first pick of any relics that you're looking to sell in exchange for some exclusive benefits. We would be purchasing them, of course. There wouldn't, we're not asking for anything free. Um, but if we could have first look, then I think you would like what we could offer.
hmm. I would certainly be happy to assist the illustrious Morgrave University in this. And actually, now that you've reminded me, I have been transcribing the contents of this giantess journal for you. And I'll like hand her the notebook that I've been filling up.
Yeah, and that's sufficient. Like she starts looking through it and gets pretty thoroughly distracted until like one of you gets her attention again. Like there's
Birds of a feather.
yeah, like academic,
Nah.
you just gave raw material to, so she lost her train of thought thoroughly until you like clear your throat or something.
There's certainly more to be decoded within the
Mm,
spell shard, but
uh,
I will
wonderful.
continue to give you my transcriptions.
Uh, wonderful. Well, I don't have anything on me, but I'll try and what did you want for this?
Consider this a personal gift.
Oh, uh, well, thank you. I will keep it in mind. But anyways, uh, pardon. What, first of all, as far as things we can offer, or well, Moregrave can offer more than a fair price for any artifact. No auctions through third parties, with them taking their share. I'll write you out a check, Pindaric Bank, no problem. Or if you prefer something more immediate, I can arrange for coinage. Um, Secondly, any research you wish to conduct regarding history can be handled by a relevant expert, taking none of your own time. In this case, it would almost certainly be me. There's not a lot of academics here at the moment. Um, you will still have to provide uh, basic compensation, of course. But if you wish to do such research, and if you wish to do such research yourself, you will have access to Moorgrave's extensive collections of information on a wide variety of subjects, mostly back in Sharn, but it will be available to you. Um, uh, Third, any documentation you need for exploring ruins on mainland Zendrick, letters of marque and such, can be obtained through the King of Breland. The university maintains a close relationship with the Breelish crown. And finally, Should any of you wish to further your education in some fashion, it would be discounted at our university. Training in history, arcane theory, natural sciences, and even an academic approach to the theological are well within our purview.
Pick just blinks a few times.
Bambi's probably picking his nose.
I would certainly be amenable to such a relationship.
Ludger contemplates the idea of eventually a place to send his children for an education.
Yeah, this would be
If
Wargrave University
Reichenmark,
definitely still has legacy, so this would be a good way to set that up.
If Reichenmark doesn't work out.
Yeah, Reichenmark's a good school, but it's focused. That's military school versus like prestigious, well, mostly prestigious Ivy League.
Well, out of
Wargrave,
character, Morgrave does have a reputation.
Yeah,
it's
but
solid
this is the
learning.
equivalent of this is the equivalent of trying to convince a West Point grad that like Harvard's a better school.
Yeah.
It's more like convincing someone from any accredited university to just like go grave robbing. It's good for the environment.
Listen.
I hate Morgrave. It's depicted so badly.
Go
I just
grave.
talked about this yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong, but you know, they are the ones who like just not spoiler, everything but one thing you sent was bought by Wargrave.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
They
It's
loved
just
it.
out of character. I hate them.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's a fair reaction.
Yeah, Purser would just see them as like a fellow university.
Yeah.
Pick would just ask, how many of people like me go to school there? Any?
We have a fairly diverse student body, but I'm not entirely sure we have any Thri-Kreen among us, and no, I don't think we do.
Pick looks thoughtful about it.
You could be the first pick.
I want to see where you are from. It sounds very big.
Maybe when Mishann is safe and the Verwick Pact isn't threatening us at every corner.
Has he told her about the big churches and stuff there?
Oh, I think he's definitely described at least Flamekeep and like the incredible like Gothic cathedral, the towers of Sharn, all kinds of stuff.
Which are impressive even by giant standards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, they're not bad. The goblins build well.
Neat. Can people like me go to school there?
Of course, we, as I said, we have a very diverse student body. Really, anyone with sufficient desire to learn and fundage is welcome.
Good. Looks
On
at
the
Purser,
topic-
non-satisfied.
Sorry.
You're fine.
On the
That was it.
topic of investigating giantess ruins, my lady, there is an expedition of some expediency that we're about to embark upon. The residents of Gizbel Pool have requested that we travel to the island of Alam Cusp and find supposedly an ancient contract betwixt the giants and I think it was a Dao.
Yes.
A Dao of Fernia. And enlist its assistance.
Well, I assume Gizbel Hull indicates clanhold, so it's one of the northern clanholds.
Indeed.
That's that is fascinating. I would be happy to tag along if your group would have me.
I'd be happy to have another academic along for the ride. These I enjoy their company, but sometimes I need some better discussion.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I'd be happy to do so. Um, oh, I need to. When is this? When are you leaving? You said some Expedia. Is it now or?
Our ship is heading off to carry troops to assist Gizbel, but as soon as it returns, we'll be setting off within the next, I guess, 3 to 6 days. It's a 3-day trip to get there, right? So
So
6
it's
days.
a 6-day round trip.
Yep.
All right. Well, wonderful. I'll start thinking about packing this now. All right, that is fascinating because that doesn't. And she starts like rambling to herself about the different notes that are supposed to be, what giant civilizations were here, yada yada. She kind of wanders off rambling to herself, and then stops. And I just realized. So, are you willing to? Can I count that as a answer in the affirmative in your interest in joining forces with Moorgrave University?
So out of character, Purser's definitely up for it, but I don't want to unanimously decide for the party.
Yeah.
Pick has very
I
little
mean,
understanding of this and trusts his discretion. She's just like, that is good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ludger basically already kind of sees that, like, you know, the party's being cool with like him bringing his family on the boat for their safety, so he's not going to push back against anything that the party's, anyone in the party is going to ask.
That's fair. Okay. So that's three yeses. Bemi and Balthazar, what are your takes on these? Bemi,
As long as I
probably
get to
done picking
practice.
yours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah, I mean, in this regard, I guess the only thing going through Bemmy's head is, like, man, I'm hungry. Can we eat something?
Okay, so that's
Yes or-
four
yes or
yeses.
no, Bemmy?
Balthazar.
I mean, I don't see why not.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean it's so out of character. Those of you from Corvair, Yet Moorgrave is like the easy joke and the common one in academic circles and beyond is they're more grave. They're more graves. They're Robin Graves. Especially on Zendrick, they're fucking like worse than Indiana Jones's enemies, like kicking in doors to just steal shit. But
Did it
it's
pay well?
they do usually because they're
Do they
because
actually study what they take?
some
They
of it
it's very in line with like
Victorian.
19th and 20th century archaeology where they certainly pretend to by our standards, and mostly it's used to perpetrate racism.
What's the percentage? How much of it is for a personal collection? How much because you actually interested in the science and the history?
Um, yeah, 40%
See?
That's quite
ish.
a lot for these times. So maybe these guys aren't bad.
You can't see it, but my eye is legitimately twitching right now.
Could be worse.
I may be a monk. I may be a monk's a class, but trust me, I did not like being there.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's an offer, and they will give you the best price for artifacts you bring. So, but yeah, it
When you open up
sounds
a
like
museum, I get free entry.
they have a museum. There is a museum. I have a map for it. If you guys ever go to Sharn, there's a natural history museum you could visit. Um, they have skeletons of all kinds of things. Uh,
How
but
many of them are
yeah,
real?
um, most of them. But yeah,
Well, on this school,
the tribal peoples of so and so. That's my grandmother. Oh, shut up. Um, so
Why is he? Why does it have like a Tyrannosaurus like clavicle? Shouldn't.
because that's so cool. But
Oh.
it sounds like that's at least a somewhat shaky affirmative. She will take that as a yes, and you know, look pleased as punch as she departs, and She's gonna get ready to. She's gonna start packing now for the trip 6 days down the line.
Mm.
But yeah, um, you guys have gotten mail. You've gotten coinage, and you've
Well,
got yeah. Go ahead.
Bemi, let's get you some food, and we have something else that needs discussing away from prying eyes.
Okay. The inn is very full this time of day. If you wanted to head there for food and or discussion, or you could just get a to-go box plate thing.
I'm fine with eating and then leaving to discuss. I definitely do not want to be talking about this out in the open.
At the
A
inn? Come on.
well unknown psionicist is running around.
I mean, there's spells that mimic it. It could have just been a spell. Yeah. Yeah. You guys head to the inn, grab something, 4 coppers, for like mega ultra supersize it for Bemmy. And
He hasn't eaten in days.
yeah, he's
And we don't want Mima to accuse us of not feeding him enough. Because
that's true.
that's the
Mima
kind of thing that
has
ends up with us being like force fed for 1,000 years or something.
I don't get it. James Cooper went mad in 5 minutes. Yeah, but yeah, well, to be fair, Mima has played both sides of that. Like whenever Bemmy was getting comfortable with a self-image, she would either she would either imply he was fat or imply he was like too skinny. So,
What I
but
care about is not giving her ammunition against
yeah,
me.
yeah, no, I get you. But yeah, you get some food, and where are you going for your safe and very private talk?
I think back onto the boat might, or no, I guess the boat's not here.
Oh no, it's still here. You
Oh
said you
shit!
wanted to wait.
Oh, that's fair. So yeah, back onto the boat, and then
Okay.
we'll have our discussion, and it'll set off with the boys.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, Purser's gonna, I think, find a table. I assume we have some tables lying around the boat. Human-sized furniture is nice.
Yeah, the hold is big enough to like yeah, there's plenty of space. Just crates and stuff could be.
I. He's like fighting with himself, trying to think of how to say this best. I wrote to my superiors in the church and asked them to send us any relevant information regarding Izora Ir Saavedra. And that reply has just arrived. And I'll like lay down a decoded copy of the text, which I will set up in game notes so we can read together. It is long and dense, and I love it. Notes.
I imagine Bemmy is like leaning over it while he's got like incredibly greasy fish and chips like mounted up.
That's part of why I made a copy. I've already like burned the original.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah.
It's too long. There we go. Okay. The long story short is that the office of Archbishop Crozin suspects that she is an imposter. The reason why is unknown. But she's also linked to attempted assassinations of another noble in Sharn.
So she could be imposter or could be on the run.
I think either are equally likely. This is a very good place to hide.
We got a picture of what this person looks like.
It's in
What's your thing? Let me pull up my camera.
it's in game images. She's like
Okay.
we bumped into her a few sessions ago.
Talking about what's her name?
The sus lady who you guys suspected was perhaps not as noble as she appeared.
She
Precisely.
blanked out. She blanked that pic.
Yeah, yeah.
No, we are the leaders of this area. We could just kill her and say she was a terrorist.
We're
the
not,
leaders.
though.
You are
We-
like really important adventuring party. The leader is a noble woman,
We did
a
what we
noble
have to
governess.
do.
You are very important, and she agrees that like there's something wrong there. It's just she's made it clear that she can't like she can't go around ordering assassinations of some of the only Irish noble like families
Mhm.
left
I'm right here,
for a number of reasons. Yeah,
but I'm right here.
you are one of them. Yes, there were others.
We're keeping tradition around here. Now give me the knife.
Yeah, it might be tricky. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know much about Eberron lore, but how these nobles, how assassin happy were they back in the old country?
not real bad in Sire. I feel like it was probably a thing, but not a horrific thing. It wasn't like
Mids
I
are
mean,
Parisian toothpaste.
Oh, nowhere near that.
yeah,
Before the war, especially, like it was the golden age of Galifar. Everything was really good. It
yeah,
definitely happened, but not. It wasn't like political dystopia level.
yeah,
During the war, I could see it happening very frequently.
yeah. It was, but it probably had more to do with like I feel like during the war it had more to do with okay, this family. Everybody's probably selling some secrets. This one has
hmm
completely gotten out of control, and one family gets the go ahead from the Irish nobles. Like, okay, yeah, this particular guy is a problem. We know you want to get back at him. Yeah, go ahead and hire House so and so. Yeah, given that there are definitely not any official dragon marked houses that specialized at assassination. But if there
None.
were, um, they may have been involved in shit like that.
So, does Purser never went through the trial with a mark, so he doesn't have the implicit knowledge of what Thorani and Fjarlin do.
Nope, they're record companies.
Right. Would he suspect House Tarkanan in any way? Or are they just like the boogeyman myth still?
Um, I it would be possible. House Tarkanan, in mine, I've had them as after the war, that dirty secret got out, and a lot of other nations' secret services kind of viewed it as a cautionary tale. Like,
Okay.
yeah, the Breelish got the the Dark
The Dark
Lanterns
Lanterns.
tried their shenanigans. They tried playing with fire, and of course they got fucking burned, and now they have a problem. Like, this is why we don't work with these people. Like that, I feel like that's how other Secret Service groups would take it.
Okay. So yeah, Purser still doesn't know exactly what to think. We haven't pieced all the pieces together. But the key thing is she is very clearly not who she says she is.
Or if she is, she has killed.
Exactly. She's either working with assassins or is an assassin herself in hiding. And either one is bad for us, I think. Unless we can get her on side. Now, I'm inclined to believe that she isn't an assassin herself because she's being kind of like pushy about things, you know? Like
Yeah, she's
she's
very
she's making
visible.
a big scene and being very,
Yeah.
very visible. So
Mhm.
I think she's just some opportunist that is either working with or for maybe House Harkonnen to do something. But I don't know. The fact that she's so magically capable is a huge wrinkle. Especially since like her listed specialty is ice. And I mean, we don't know what kind of caster she is, like she's a wizard or what, but like what was it? Modify Memory, I think, on pick is a very powerful spell.
Yeah, that's
And
outside the usual wheelhouse of like your standard caster in Corvair.
exactly. So something is going on there. Purser definitely doesn't know about the dream conspiracy to suspect that.
I will like. There are rumors about stuff like most of the different intelligence agencies have somebody who's for very usually contact with various things is kind of viewed as like a bit of a nut. But in the last year or so, not that Purser's been around for it, in the last year or so, there have been increasingly suspicious moves against that very peaceful nation of Riedra across the sea. Like not
Mm-hmm.
overt moves against them, but odd shutdowns of the diplomatic efforts, especially in Breland, like centering from Breland. So maybe the secret got out there somewhat, but not it's not like common knowledge in any way.
I think this is an out of character kind of metagamey point, but I think that if it was a Sarlonan infiltrator, then, or at least if Crozen had suspicions of that, he would have mentioned it because he is, kind
No,
of
no.
important.
He's a
Yeah.
national leader. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
that's the kind of thing that they would know. Yeah. Yeah, no evidence of Sarlonan stuff, at least in what he found.
Right. And it could still be the case, but
Yeah.
nothing super obvious apart from the modify memory.
Which, like I said, there are arcane ways to do that, arcane ways to mimic psionic
Yeah,
stuff.
it's definitely possible to do it in any number of ways, but if there were other clues pointing to the dream conspiracy, that would have been like, bam,
He shows
100%.
up wearing crystal armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Purser has dropped a truth bomb on you guys. What, what, what is the reaction beyond chewing loudly on, supersized?
Mm, I
Did he
mean,
tell?
do you want her caught?
I worry that if we move against her before we know what's going on, then some potential force backing her will just move back into the shadows and we'll never find them. I think we have to wait for her to make a misstep.
Okay.
We are not here to watch.
That's the issue, yes.
Mm, I would miss her very much. I would, especially when it comes to, when it comes to God shifts. I like Kitty Cat. But what a Poyle state. Can Poyle watch her? It's a lot less suspicious.
It's certainly doable, but well, cats are fairly inconspicuous. They're also don't have thumbs.
It's an
That
objective truth.
is that is very true.
A closed door can stop Pearl from spying on you, let alone any psionic magic or elsewise that she might have. Hmm.
Leave Mr. Ed there again.
I was actually like contemplating at that, and I was about to bring it up. Like,
I have my horse.
Same
stalk
problem,
this
except fits less places.
there is
Just-
there's a certain level of inconspicuousness you get from being completely conspicuous.
Hiding behind like a light pole. Trying the horse.
I just love the idea of this horse just giving this bitch a side eye through a window. Standing
Secret
outside.
agent horse.
That if no one else has a problem with that, I think that might actually be what I want to do. Just tell Redemptor to stay and just keep an eye on her. Like, make sure she
Okay.
doesn't do anything super suspicious. If she does, like, just scream and I don't know, but just make a big fuss. And either it'll catch her in the stupidest way possible, or it'll prevent her from doing anything until we get back.
This is beautiful. This is so beautiful.
I will give you guys credit. Between Kick and the magic horse, like, she can't outplot you guys. I guarantee you. Like, she could be trying to do wheels within wheels. She never suspected Moth Person coming up and demanding to know what's going on with your dreams, or Horse staring and screaming the moment she does anything that could be viewed as suspicious.
I think we got it.
I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for your fucking moth and horse.
The weirdest anti-spy measures that have ever been designed.
Look, Purser's not a trained espionage specialist. He works with what he has.
No, it's even if the odds weren't in our favor, I'm still saying yes, we're doing it.
Some things you just gotta do for the pizzazz.
Okay. All right, so that is a plan. And is that like from today onwards, you're just having Redemptor leave the ship and start following her?
I think while we're here, it's fine. It'll just start once we leave.
Okay. Fair enough.
We say we have a bunch of lizard folk friends. We could just have them sneak out her house for like a week.
Yeah, if Bemi's willing to risk his helpful lizard folk trainer, you could do that.
I mean, does he wanna?
You would have to ask him. He was kind of like a hermit, even among the lizard folk.
Interesting.
I can ask.
Okay. Yeah, so Ludger, was there anything you wanted to add to the horse plan, we'll call it? Scott, either you're really quiet or your mic went out again.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, but I was wondering why he was so quiet.
If you tried a new port.
Okay, so this is another one of those things where Ludger is even less of a trained espionage person than
There you
Purser.
go. Okay.
But even Ludger would comment on the horse plan, but considering we literally have no assets to leave in town to watch this person, it's one of those, it's fucking stupid, but it's what we got.
It's so stupid it might just work.
Yeah.
No, it's just dumb. Right, that incident real.
But I don't have an alternative, so
Yeah. If it works, yeah, fair enough.
Plus, my favorite part about the plan is what is she going to do about it? She can't tell people there's a horse spying on her.
Can she kill the horse?
I mean,
Probably.
yeah, but he's like a trained warhorse.
Also,
oh yeah, I'm sure that CR like 1/2 warhorse is going to body the
No.
high level caster.
It doesn't
in a
have to
one-on-one
kill her.
fight.
It just has to not get killed and run around being shot at by some kind of spy wizard, attracting as much attention as possible.
No, I'm sorry, guys. No, this is too good. I want this. We can leave my hermit trainer alone. No, we're going with the horse.
All
And
right, fair enough.
I think
I'm
enough
so
people know
sold.
by now that Redemptor is Purser's horse.
Mm-hmm.
So if she does kill him, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's
Yeah,
really
that's
stupid.
hey, you know what? If it works and it's if it's stupid and it works, then it's not stupid.
It's something that is within our power to do
Exactly.
without
It's
risking the lives of people. I
it's
think
it
it's a big
was it's
thing.
like my dream plan where I like in Dark Sun where I was like
hmm
I'm gonna try and covertly brainwash like six really corrupt awful priests by impersonating their god in their dreams via wizard shit. Um, what
Kind is a
happened?
Dark Sun character.
What happened the next day? They all just fled the city. Oh well, yeah, that's about right. Like, that's about right.
And Machiavelli did talk about like this kind of controlled chaos where
Yeah.
like you can't predict everything that'll happen, but neither can your enemies. So it levels the playing field.
Yeah, like I said, I guarantee you she didn't predict you guys using a horse. Um, so, uh, you guys,
Mom did work, but But you didn't expect the horse.
yeah, exactly. So you guys, have set up things for this, this evening. Is there anything else you want to do before retiring to your various places of rest? It's been a while since you were home. If, for those of you who want to like go back and dust or visit your families and what have you.
Purser has no plans, but we should remember the buddy system from last time. No
That's
one
fair.
goes alone because psychic shenanigans.
Fair enough.
I'd say I leveled up and I got a bunch of just say no to status effects to your mind. Now that I'm a monk, so I could actually be better to get some control fire or something.
That's fair.
Well, we just don't know how strong she is the problem.
Well, you
That's
can't
also
just
true.
cast spells on random people. That's illegal.
Well, she did.
Do we
So
have those laws here?
Everything's legal when the cops aren't around.
Oh, I guess. Hey, anyone got Gias yet then?
No, you do not. And actually, I have some homebrew rules about Gias. Like, I actually make it stronger. So, you know. But
We're making
yeah.
stronger.
But
All right, we're getting Gias. Daniel, get
sure,
to work.
I would need an alignment change. But yeah. So you guys can. I know Ludger almost certainly wants to head to the Stromholm. Um, I imagine, like I said, everyone probably wants to visit their house at least, if nothing else, to like dust or something.
Yeah,
Um,
pickle just dust.
yeah, or I mean, I don't know how important dusting is if it's like half nest,
Get,
but it is, you know,
yeah,
it's
get rid of the raccoon infestation.
it would. I feel like it would be
Hello,
compies or
hello, madam.
something here, but yeah,
You show up to her house in like a shitty like work attire. Like, we're here to get rid of those rats. You hired us.
yeah, Three Stooge it. But yeah, you head back two by two. What is the twosome, the fearsome twosome that you guys are going by? Like Bemi with Pick or Balthazar with Ludger or Purser, like various pairings as far as who's
I'd say
staying
Ludgar and
with
Well,
Balthazar will be a good duo.
well,
you. Okay.
there's going to have to be a group of three because there's five of us.
I noticed that, but I figured I'd let you guys come to the conclusion.
Um, so yeah, yeah, especially since I think Balthazar hasn't met Hala or you know,
Oh yeah, you introduce your family. That's fair. Okay. Um,
There's some parallels to Foreman.
yeah, you go and meet the Strom family. Um, Bemi, Pick, and Purser. What is the order of like Purser? Are you gonna be like the guy, you know, do as I say, not as I do, and just enjoy your tower, in
No,
quiet solitude, or
I'll go with Pick and Bemmy.
okay, fair
Like
enough.
I don't have a house to upkeep, so we'll
Yeah,
just
you just tower it.
mhm.
Okay. I mean, the standard place you keep it when you're here is next to the temple, but that's just for me to have it on the map. That's not where it actually needs to be.
I get I maybe I'll just put it right next to where Pick is, and then
Pick nest, yeah, that's fair.
yep.
Okay, so go
And she's
over.
gonna watch me while I sleep anyway, so
It's
Yeah,
true.
make it easy. Um,
Hey, at least
so
if anyone comes to fuck with him, they aren't going to expect that there's a tiny angry moth that will attack them because it's disrupting her show.
yeah, exactly. I guarantee you they wouldn't expect that. But Bemmy, what are you going to do? Are you gonna agree to hang out with the other kids and then sneak off, or are you gonna be, where do you want to stay for the night?
I mean, I'm not gonna sneak off, but how much room is in Pick's nest?
It is up to. I feel like a lot, but it's all in tiny spaces. Like,
You
it's
got like
standard cottage sized as far as like actual stats, but it's up to
okay,
pick how that's distributed.
all right, all
I think
right.
she would have made it incredibly complex. She's probably got like her sleeping area and then like a food storage area and then like the rest is just kind of open because she
I-
didn't have a lot of she doesn't know how long anything is, and so she's like, this is not my I don't interpret this to be my forever nest.
This is your summer nest, yeah.
This is my summer nest.
Yeah, and it is thankfully with some help from your friends. They're like its usual look is kind of ruined in your opinion by it, but there is a pretty sturdy blanket slash tarp, thrown across the top of it to help get rid of some of the torrential rains that hit during rainy season. Luckily, you're just coming out of rainy season. It's literally the very end of it, so you're not expecting to get too many more of them. But it is, it's comfy in a giant like stick bird nest, moth nest fence sense. Like it is actually pretty comfortable to sleep in, realistically, I feel like.
She probably has a metric fuckload of soft things because that's probably the thing that predominantly interests her at the marketplace is fibers.
yeah, and I remember you used some of the uh giant like water spider silk to hold it together too. So it's
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, it's pretty sturdy. And then there's Purser's, which Purser's mobile tower home you're familiar with. It's these I don't know if how many floors he's willing to put in today, but um, it usually has like a lounge area that you could crash in if you feel so desired.
I can even just make a second bedroom.
Yeah, you could do that, honestly. But yeah,
fine. We're sleeping over at my house tomorrow. That's all.
That's fine. I
All right.
can bring my bed with me.
but yeah, in that case, you set up, and are you guys gonna do any kind of watch for the night, or just you're back in town? You don't expect too much shenanigans as long as there's at least two party members type thing.
I'm actually not particularly worried. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah.
I'll
I
keep
think
Pearl on the lookout.
I mean
That's
Pick
fair.
doesn't
She's a
have to
cat. She
sleep,
likes
but
being
she's
up anyways.
she's just going to enjoy the show, like enjoy her shows and
Yeah, and go through like, you know, add your new collection of like fancy rocks and cool, knickknacks and bits of animals to like the collection that's
yep,
here. That type of
My
thing.
yep.
favorite rock.
It
If
is a good
Pearl
rock.
sees Izora at all, she will wake me up.
That's fair. Um,
Mm,
yeah,
yeah.
in that case, the night goes by without incident. And the day dawns on a new beautiful morning in Mishann. And now that you're not in the northern foothills again, uh, as soon as you step outside your tower, Purser, that familiar humidity pretty much pulls your hair down. Um,
Actually, I did prepare a spell for this.
And now that I think on it, your clothes do actually make it not nearly as suffocating. I just realized you have
So
your magic comfort clothes. So
I'll cast air bubble to
you
create a
have
spectral globe of air around me. It's
okay.
fresh.
So so you have like a upside down fishbowl over your head,
Yes,
and
of like air conditioned air.
yeah, and the rest of your body
It's
is being helped by the magic clothes, underclothes you bought. Okay, well,
it's not
perfect.
about efficient spell slot use. It's about sending a message.
Yeah,
Well, it's also
that is
just a good
fair.
spell. Works underwater, works in space.
It is nice, yeah.
It can hit 3 people when you upcast it.
Yeah,
It's 2 additional per level. It's great.
it is nice.
So you have okay. I cast rebreather.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
basically it.
Yeah, cue episode 1. Dive down into the water.
Yeah,
Ah.
that's okay. We got magical harmonicas we're gonna hold in our mouth.
I don't know what this is a reference
Listen,
to.
it
I'm
was cool.
assuming Sea
Shut
Lab.
shut up. You know exactly what it is. It was that Star Wars movie that came out not too long ago.
No?
Episode 1, you remember it. It was in theaters.
What, Phantom
Um,
Menace?
yeah, you remember that.
Oh, oh, the water scene.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
totally.
don't.
That was only like 10 years ago, man. Like you totally remember that.
No, it sounds like 20.
Shut up. All right.
Oh God, why
Pretty
did you
sure that
say
movie's
that
older
out
than me.
loud, man?
But that movie
um,
came out 2001.
yeah, that was like 10, maybe 11 years ago. But you guys rejoin for the day, and is there anything in particular you want to do as as the volunteer forces are gathered up and are like getting ready to board the ship? You want to send them away with, I don't know, come back on your shields type thing, or what if anything are you saying to them beyond the battle plans that Ludger was kind enough to write down?
I don't really know the like Sulatar traditions or their specific group's traditions, but I'll just wish them good luck and we'll come to help as soon as we can.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. They're a pretty stoic bunch, even by Sulatar, but you don't seem to have offended them in any way, and they board up.
Pick
They board up all at once, no problem.
Pick would like to encourage them by saying that um, no matter what happens, they'll be tended to, but they are shaping the future of our home.
Yeah. That goes over. I think it doesn't go over badly with the Sulatar. It's just once again, it's hard to tell
Yeah.
a big reaction necessarily, but you can see that it seems to perk up the Mishann, mostly human volunteers, or technically Cyrus / Deneth. Um, and Ludger's troops, I feel like they're probably like the most happy-go-lucky they've been since they got here. It's up to you if that's a counterpoint, Ludger. Um,
Um, gotta say, like Ludger would definitely address his men,
okay.
and in hindsight, I should have actually like written something down.
You're
But
good. It's up to you how much you want to
basically,
RP it.
basically, obviously not in a we won the war, but basically it's like you know, just as you won peace with honor through your courage and skill on the battlefield of the last war. Uh, once again, we will be marching forth to defend our homes and kin. But this time, in addition to defending our home, we will be we will be marching under a banner of liberation. here in this new land, in this new world. Uh, your courage, devotion, and skill in battle will be instrumental in setting, uh, you know, others free. For we this time we do not fight for land or glory or honor, but this time we fight to set other men free.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
That's plenty. That's enough for them. They were already pretty happy about this just from the general gist, but they feel good about that. And although you get one or two side eyes from the Cyrus, vets, nobody really objects to it because I feel like most of the diehard vets are like from almost every nation probably are of the opinion, no guys, this next offensive you don't know. We were gonna be the ones to come out on top. Like I feel like that was probably it's a pretty recurring thing among any group.
I
So
mean that's
uh,
basically what I mean. Ludger honestly thinks like, yeah, like the next offensive, we were going to go all the way to the stand-in for Paris. Uh,
yeah,
Operation Michael's going to work, guys. Spring offensive 1918. We got this in the bag. Uh,
Just
it
hitting the
totally
French right
didn't
up the
save our
butt
ass that
cheeks.
everyone stopped fighting. Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
he's also somewhat reasonable. As like, yeah, our last offensive that like we did before peace broke out, like that's what let King Caius go to the table and like all that sort of stuff. So like we won the war, guys. With we won the freedom to like deal with like shit at home and stuff. So yeah, but we won the war, guys. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds correct.
I mean,
Fair
pretty
enough.
sure after dealing with that horrendous of a war, you know, everyone has to think that they won the war, or you know,
You get a little nutty. Uh,
yeah,
You
but
get a little nutty.
yeah, yeah, the um let's see. And the lizard folk are they listen to both sides as much as they can because they're picking up common fairly quickly. At least the basics of it. It's pigeon common, but they're picking it up. They're making you think they're making more effort than the drow. It's hard because drow society really emphasizes mastery, so it's more embarrassing to like speak badly than to just not speak at all. So if they are working at it, you can't tell very much for the drow yet or for the Sulatar at least. But the lizard folk are, they seem as enthusiastic about some of what you guys are saying, and they really like the part about freeing people because that was nice. That was
no,
nice when it helped them, so they're willing to
yeah,
go with it. And
and of course,
yeah,
after the speech is, I mean, especially since there's so few of them, Ludger effectively doing the equivalent of stopping by every single like guy that's going on the mission and having like, a
yeah,
quick
14 guys
like,
doesn't take that long. Yeah, that's fair.
to basically like, check in on them and wish them luck personally and all that sort of stuff. And honestly, he's willing to do that for any of the guys going. It's just he imagines that the only people he knows are going to want to talk to him are you know his former unit.
Mhm. Yeah, I get you. But yeah, they're all happy to hear that, and like I said, they're probably the most relaxed about all this, just because this makes the most sense of what their lives have become since the end of the war. So this is comfortable, um, relatively speaking. But yeah, you guys see the ship board up, and I mean, unless you guys have an alternate plan for it, I think the person who's still stuck with um driving the ship, so to speak, as far as a caster who can do it and is otherwise available, is um, Lady.
Mhm.
Well, not Lady Wayrup. Uh, Ka, Casca L, the 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 best mage in the Wayrobe clan left. She's still delegated to that. So with a
Well, on
Only
the
with a
make
bright
toast.
the
side, the
Wayrun
next
clan
couple
left.
of weeks we'll have me driving instead of her. So
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be nice. And to be honest, she could be bitching, but if she was here, they'd just be using her as a glorified walkie-talkie. So,
yeah.
um, but yeah. So,
Ah,
uh,
to have the blessings of magic.
yeah, exactly. It's like you're the best wizard we have left, and the only wizard, exactly. But
Hey man, can you frostbite while I drink, please?
but yeah, the ship sets out with more than a few cheers. Actually, you know what? I will say the lizard folk do get a like it's not quite a full like war dance, but part of the group sending them off is very much sends out something similar to a war dance that involves a lot of like they go into the water, dunk their heads. It's almost kind of like a baptism. Then they come out of the water and then go right onto the gangplank. Um,
Mm.
it's odd that you hear references to like returning to the world beyond, stuff like that. But yeah, they're quite happy to go, and the ship going at a speed that absolutely dwarfs all the little fishing ships that are currently working. Pretty quickly vanishes from sight. And you guys have 6 days here to do whatever you like. Is there anything in particular you would like to dedicate that time to? Downtime activities, what have you? You actually have it's one full work week plus a day. So,
Mm.
Let me see here. Is there any way that I could make an attempt to get a guard dog for my little treehouse?
yeah, you could.
Or an equivalent. Doesn't have to be a dog. Like, if I could have an alligator, that would be great.
Okay, well, where it's situated, an alligator might not be super comfortable unless you like dig a mud pit. But as far as native things that uh, could theoretically be trained and be available for such stuff, let me
Right.
take a look.
What happened to that feathered sprinter that Baltazar bought?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it has not been mentioned, but it did come back with you guys. Like there wasn't any point where
Where's
you
my
weren't
Where's my
able to get.
beloved?
You have Old Gray is with you.
Good.
Uh,
Good.
I forgot it, but it is legit there. There's no reason why
I
it
was gonna
wouldn't be able to
say,
get
'cause
onto
I
the ship.
love how the first encounter we get out, you immediately fucking attack it.
I had gone out of my way to not put those things on the map. That was your action. I take no responsibility. All right. As far as let's see here. You do not have a baby sunset raptor, for which I think you probably are grateful.
I
Um,
remember.
Well, we had the ashes.
you do. You do. Let's see. As far as a guard thing,
I mean,
Velociraptors.
Bemmy could just dig a moat around his treehouse and put alligators in that.
You could. You'd have to catch one from the river here. Um,
I could talk to one. Say,
you'd
hey, I
get
got an idea for you.
there's
Want a job? Start
there's a lot of
interviewing alligators?
there's things in the river that are crocodilian. There's definitely things in it that you could talk to. Uh, usually pretty big, but
Good.
yeah.
That's what I want. I want something like that.
All right. So give me a nature check, um, followed by a survival check, followed by a persuasion check. Um,
Nature, survival, and persuasion.
the first
All
two to
right.
track down sufficiently, well, to track down a guard alligator, and then the last one to try and convince it to not just fucking eat you.
Oh my gosh, that is the wrong character. I was like, persuasion plus 15? This isn't right.
This
That was
isn't
Damon.
right.
That was my bard. I'm sorry, guys. All right.
Damon appears out of the bathwater.
Holding a map, holding a
Fucking cool.
laminated map.
That's what you want. Nature,
Nature, survival, and persuasion.
survival, and persuasion. How bad is it?
Well,
Yeah.
one sec.
Well, this grass is certainly green.
Makes little kissy noises, holds piece of chicken.
Okay, so all right, so you do find initially the fishermen are pretty leery because they spot something a few times. Like, you know, you're pretty popular among the fishers and the hunters because not only do you outclass them regularly, you've saved their lives a couple times if I remember correctly. You legit more than the rest of the party have regularly help out the people who like venture beyond the pseudo walls that this place has.
Yeah.
So they do tell you that they've seen something that looks like a, alligator, crocodile, something like that, um, near the bridge over here. Which, not terrible. Hour walk, you get there. Um, or at least, get close to it. You have to cross the bridge, but that's get a little boat, row over. Uh, and after, we'll say, 2 of the 6 days, you think you've spotted something. You spot a couple times, seems to be like living somewhere in the uh, like half submerged, ruined pillars that hold up what was this just massive bridge. And on the 4th day, you successfully find it, and just enormous crocodilian head kind of like comes out of the water and eyes you up, very similar to like, eyeing up like the last chicken tendy. Um, and you're able to do the whole, speak with animals and chat with it. Um, and it is actually listening until you get to the part where like I'll take you over here and do so and so. And although, it's reptilian, you're not sure how strong an emotional range it has. It does seem pretty amused and like quickly goes to the well, this was fun, but you're silly enough to be food. And it doesn't really get too close to you as far as nomming you because you can see the signs in the body language. But then you see why it seemed to find it amusing, which is that it is a legless crocodile, a pretty sizable one. Um, which, while it would be good for guarding like the docks or something, if you could convince it, it probably is harder to get onto land prop.
I do love the idea of guarding the docks.
Yeah,
I can
and you
try
could,
again. I can try again for another guard animal lizard thing later on, but
yeah, another downtime week, you could definitely come back and be like, hey, you want to stop trying to eat overturn the boats and eat the fishermen? Maybe guard them instead, that type of thing. Um, so yeah, you could definitely try that later on.
okay.
But sadly, you did not get a sufficient. It's He doesn't seem like he'd be very good at guarding, land-based anything.
He's too ornery.
A little too
It's
ornery.
okay.
Yep, yep.
He got he he got all them teeth and no
No toothbrush.
toothbrush.
No toothbrush and no hands to hold a toothbrush. He's
No
worse off
hands to
even
hold.
than the regular ones.
He ain't got no hands to hold no toothbrush. No wonder he
Yeah,
can't brush his teeth. Even if he could brush his teeth, he can't brush his teeth.
yep, exactly.
Um,
So while that's happening, is there anything anybody else is doing?
So Purser is doing some shopping for some random odds and ends.
Okay.
And in the actual downtime, he would like to craft a magical item, if that's
Okay.
permissible.
Um,
Um,
sh-
does
yeah, go ahead.
does Mishann have a cleansing stone yet?
I feel like the governess probably has one. Like, um, I feel like the governess has one at the governor's building. Um,
No, well, a
there's
publicly available cleansing
oh,
stone.
like a public one.
Yeah.
Probably not. Like
Like
it's
every proper town.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I'm torn. Like I feel like they would, but yeah, you know what? That's especially Cyrus. Like they were very proud about that shit. Um, I feel
That's
like
fair.
they would have one at the end, like just because that's like the center point for the town. Where it's like you're free to use it there. Um,
In that case, I would like to take the chest that we have
mhm.
and enchant it with some preservation magics to create a chest of preserving.
Oh, cool. All right.
You can say that for the next group of fish we catch.
Exactly. It won't
Yeah. So
not an entire tuna, but
that might be tricky.
Can make
But
it
let
work.
me look here. Look at
it is
Sanithar's stuff for crafting.
it
Um,
is 1 work week and 50 gold to produce a common item.
yeah, that matches the lowered cost that I did. So yeah, I'm comfortable. Like that matches the like the trying to fight hyperinflation efforts that I've made. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm comfortable with that actually. That works.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, a common between. Yeah, that actually matches right up. Jeez. Oh, cool. Um, okay. And are there any roles or is it just straight?
Um,
You spend the money, spend the time.
let me double check.
Because I have never used that before. Because for the longest time I tried to make the hyperinflation work before I just said, this is really stupid. Traps revisited. Downtime. There we go. Downtime revisited. 1, 2, 3.
So you need to be proficient with the relevant tools.
Okay.
For magic items, you may require special
Special
materials.
items.
But that being said, it's a chest of preserving.
Yeah, and I feel like with just the arcane stuff you've seen, you could have found like sufficient, even if they weren't working anymore, like you could have seen sufficient giant runes to be like, oh, this was their equivalent of it. That's an efficient version, and use that. Like it's yours might, it might be a little bulky or whatever, but yeah, it's perfectly acceptable. I don't think there's any special thing required for chest preserving. A crafting it item, yeah.
Bless you.
Yeah, some things might require a special formula, so like I
Thank you.
can't make a +3 sword without like knowing how to do that.
Yeah.
Make me a
But
plus
again,
5.
it's a chest of preserving.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I really
not
Like,
saying you should give it to me, but I'm just saying.
No, that works for me.
Can you
If you're
hook me
willing to
up for
spend the
plus
time, the
5
coin.
fits?
Yep.
What were you saying, Balthazar? Sorry.
Can you hook me up with a plus 5 fist?
I'll get there.
You know what? If you go back, they kind of close the portal to it. But if you start looking for the Dalkir, they could probably hook you up with some new fists. Um,
Don't worry, I got the speed. I can catch up with them.
yeah. I mean, Dalkir are all about adding things like that, so you could definitely get some new limbs. So
Just
that's
saying that Purser will be happy with the Karn if you show up with symbiotes.
Dalkir fucking art. I mean, Zach could tell you how fun it is to have symbiote fucking items. That was
Oh, I
probably
know how fun it is, but Purser is not for that.
We smoking symbiotes.
I
I
mean,
mean,
that did end with someone having to literally cut it off you because it stood turned against you.
it did. And the only reason why I didn't start killing everyone in the party was because of the you can choose to succeed on
Yeah.
on a roll a day. I'm like, yeah, I have to use it now. Man, that was
But anyways, so
bone knock was fun.
that's two people's downtime. Um, that leaves Ludger, Hick, and Balthazar. If you don't have any ideas, I'm not in any way offended. I just want to always give the option for downtime.
I just
Pick
don't know
keeps
what to
up on
do.
training, helps a bunch of people around, like if they need help with anything that she's particularly skilled at, because she's
Okay.
just
Speaking
finds these
English.
people interesting and their culture is interesting. Even boring stuff, they're like, to them is interesting to her because it's completely different. So
Yeah, that's fair. The fact that they keep building stairs and everything is adorable, but it is interesting.
it's because they don't have wings. They are just little ground people, very bad at walking in the jungle.
Well, let's see.
Um,
What can I do? I keep forgetting about downtime.
yeah, you've got downtime activities available. Um, while you were looking, Ludger, do you have any ifs, ands, or buts?
I would say, with Ludger, uh, it'd be a case of getting the family ready to go on a boat ride.
Okay,
Uh,
fair enough.
for all of that. Though I imagine we're all checking with in on each other from time to time.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So I just imagine that effectively at one point Hala sees uh like she would see Purser make a chest of preservation and without saying a word, and then within a day Ludger shows up sheepishly with 50 gold pieces to commission the next one.
My wife
Yeah.
sent me to get this.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Huh. Oh, I suppose. I'll even just give you this one, and I'll make another one.
It's not saying that she's going on the boat too, so
It's good to have with the party now, but
yeah, we could you could make another one when we get back, but that was definitely that strikes me as, especially the relationship between the two of them, is she sees something like that and she knows that Luger just came home with a big paycheck. It's
yeah,
I don't care if he's fucking
Do you see anyone else
follower with
making
silver coins.
refrigerators?
You're gonna get a goddamn refrigerator.
If I have to live in this jungle.
yeah, that's fair. Um, okay. And Balthazar, did any of the downtime activities that come up catch your eye, or
Let's see. I don't have the money to build more stuff, so
you could do crime, you could gamble, you could hit fight, you could carouse, you could research, go to religious services. Most of
You
these
could
things can
try
be done.
You
Religious
could try
services.
convincing the people of this town to go out and get feathered sprinters of their own, and you could start a feathered sprinter racing thing.
Yeah,
I mean, if you want help, I can find them. I can't talk
oh,
them into it, but
fun fact, Daniel. That Appliance Direct guy, yeah, he lit his store is like a half hour away from me. I actually
I
get
see.
commercials from him.
What a scoozy.
But let's see here. Uh, I'm gonna. I guess I'll take old Gray out and
Yep.
just wander to town, all that, do corrals, all that, and keep an eye on what's her name.
Okay. Saavedra. Yeah, if you want to carouse, absolutely. Um, it's a small town, but carousing is totally a thing. Let's see here. Carousing. Okay, so first question. You go in lower class, middle class, or upper class carousing? The cost will vary depending on those things, but
So I'm keep an
if you're
eye on
successful,
her.
you could make a contact, specific NPC that could be helpful at various points.
Since I'm keeping an eye on her, I'm gonna say upper class.
Upper class? Okay, I mean, you've got the pedigree and whatnot. You could definitely get away with it.
Scroll pedigree. I got the noble bullshit. Yep.
All right.
Poogaloo.
So, let's see here. Carousing.
And where's that
All
under?
right. That's under Xanathar's Guide, page 127, and I'm just looking
Excellent.
here.
I'm not holding that book open.
No, you're good. I'm just looking the checks. Mix of two appropriate, same people, complications.
Charisma persuasion check.
There it is. Okay, yeah. Okay, so it's to cover the expenses. It's 250 gold for the work week for local nobility.
Oh, yeah.
No thanks.
It's 10 for lower class, 50 for middle class, 250 for upper class.
I'll do middle class then, because I don't have 250 gold.
Okay. Yes, you fucking do. I know you do.
I
You
have
keep
55
getting money.
I don't take it though.
I don't care if you don't take it. Your character has it. If you threw it in the river when he got it, I don't know what to tell you, but you've fucking gotten the money.
I have
You
55
just
gold
got
on.
250 free gold pieces.
Well, you forget. I kept it in the party loot. I have my own personal funds. But I guess
Whatever you want to
Okay,
do, man.
yeah, you have to tell me that so I can add it to the party loot.
Do you always add picks?
Spreadsheet.
Do you always
Well,
add picks to the party loop?
I keep
I
forgetting.
don't,
Yeah,
but
I
I
forgot
can.
I had a massive
Okay.
casting deduction. So I had a 250. You're correct. I only do the math real
Just
quick.
from this last payout, yeah, and you got more before that.
I did spend a good. I did spend a good chunk on buying old Grado.
That's fair. You spent some money.
I will. All right. I'll spend my 250 to make a contact in
All
High
right.
Flat.
So, with that, I need a persuasion check. Charisma persuasion check.
Since I'm of noble blood, do I have advantage?
Honestly, this is one of the few circumstances in which being a noble of sire is at all fucking useful. So sure. Yeah. Like anywhere else in
La-di-da.
Corvair. Okay,
19 then.
19. That is not bad. And let's see. Browsing check. Okay, you've made some allied contacts. Okay. Character makes, yeah, I guess it's just that one and the cost. Okay, because there's a cost involved, it's just one check. So you have made 2 allied contacts. I will place a note here saying make up the 2 noble allies, or 2, upper class allies that he has made. Add the 2.
I'm going to use the allied organization part of my skill sheet.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. I made a note,
All right.
so hopefully I'll remember.
And if
Yeah.
I can tell him to do anything, I'll ask him, hey, keep an eye on her.
Okay. Saavedra. So they are NPCs who share a bond with the character. Each one owes the character a favor or has some reason to bear a grudge. I'm not gonna make it. You spent, that's a lot of money. If you're spending money like that on it, I'm not really willing to do the complications. That's fun, but that doesn't seem fun if you drop that much money. Like if it was lower
Maybe
class, I'd
bailed
say,
them. Maybe bailed them out of a bad situation or something. Like they really got they got drunk, they got over their heads gambling. They know their wife's gonna murder them. He's like, I'll bail you out, buddy.
So however we want to do it, but I would like, there's an actual complications table where it can like gain you a negative element. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, it is only a 10% chance to even have a complication.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, go ahead and roll me a 1 die 10, and like I'm gonna neuter the particularly vicious one. So if you get it.
What?
Oh, okay. Um,
Ugh.
so roll me a 1 die 8 then.
God damn.
An 8.
It's a good thing that we
Okay.
haven't been in combat this session, considering like our hilariously bad luck of everything we've tried to do.
Right. So re-roll that because you got the one that I was gonna neuter.
Come on,
So
5.
I'm
5.
Roll another
not,
d10.
I'm not gonna charge you 500 gold for running. No, let's just roll. Yeah, roll D8 again. Oh.
No, I meant roll a 5.
I know.
No.
Okay, 4. Challenge to a joust contact by a knight. There's no knights here. You
You're
know
looking
what?
at the wrong table.
Oh, am I?
No, guys, I got
Class
this.
carousing
He
complications table?
encounters
He's
someone
doing middle class.
I have a
who,
bird.
yeah,
Oh,
he has
is
a
he doing middle
feather
class?
sprinter.
Yeah, he
I
couldn't
thought he
afford the
spent.
upper class.
I thought he
No, I
went with
bought.
250.
I went high class.
Oh, did
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't hear that
I
part.
swept after I forgot I had that much money.
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's not a jousting contest by night. It's one of, we'll say a, you know what, of the attached house beneath people, one of the like maybe not the guy who's here in charge of the whole group, but like his nephew or something who's attached with it. You guys are partying. He gets particularly drunk, and he insists that House Beneath is just as good at mounted stuff. And he gets the brilliant idea that you guys do a like basically what is it? Lancing? Is it where you
It's
aim at
jousting.
a stationary target? Is that jousting? I thought jousting is only when it's like two people.
Jousting is, if I recall correctly, is the entire like sub thing.
Okay.
There is a specific term for what you're talking about, but if it falls under jousting.
Okay, that's fine then. So he
Right.
insists.
Contain is the term you're looking for.
There you go. Okay, that. So he insists that you try out on stationary targets, and just to prove his folk, House Beneath has mastered every form of combat. And give me an animal handling check with advantage because you and Old Gray have a relationship at this point. You know each other well.
22.
Yeah. And I'll roll for him. Um, to cut it out here and ace that. Yeah. So you're both drunk, but largely because Old Gray is not the fastest at this point, you're able to do just a spectacular job. Like dead center, break the lance, like it's fantastic. Um, and his efforts go much worse, and he just falls off into the mud. And it's honestly just what it's we'll say that's actually what helps make the contact is you both end up having a really good laugh about it. It's one of those things where it's not that funny, but you're that drunk. And yeah, so one of your contacts is a House Beneath Scion who's attached here. There we go.
Scion.
Yeah, it's one of the like actual members of a dragon marked house. Make a note of that.
Dragon. Of what family again?
House Beneath, which I will put here one sec. That's magic item cost.
Hello, Luger.
NPC.
Welcome back.
Mishann, here we go.
Yeah.
So a house to Neve Scion that I made buddies with because we drunkenly jousted or whatever and I won.
Exactly. Yep.
However, this could lead to the beginning of feathered strider cavalry.
That's already a thing. The Drow have it. It's
But yeah,
like
let's
Well,
never bring in
our feathered strider cavalry.
that's
Yeah, we
true.
can actually make it
Our-
work.
our innovations.
You could
Heavy
you
cavalry.
could get start getting female feathered striders to like for Old Gray to like stud for and become a feathered strider trader.
You could do that. But regardless, he at
Like that
least, and
trade.
whatever your other contact is, if you have any particular ideas, feel free to send it to me. It's an NPC ally. I don't mind if it's something as long as you're not like, I want to be friends with the Crown Prince. No.
I
Uh,
don't know the setting well enough. I'd say I'll let you do it.
I will do
You
so then
probably would.
happily. Um,
I think you would also make an ally that actually matters.
that's the goal. Yeah, I'm not gonna. You spent that money. I don't want it to be like a complete fuck you. That's
I
why
have
I
a
got rid of
budget.
you spend an additional 500 gold trying to impress. That was what the initial 8 meant, by the way, on that table. I was like, I'm not doing that. This is stupid. Uh, So,
So,
yeah, you.
Scion, I basically made. I'm a buddies with a maid man and like a mop, basically their version of it.
More like a high-ranking member of like Blackwater combined with if Blackwater also dominated the bodyguard business. So like
It's that's what I was
mercenaries
thinking
slash
of. It's
bodyguards.
I'm buddies with like someone who's officially in the group, not like an associate.
Yeah, like an
Yeah, yeah,
heir of
yeah.
the house,
Yeah, an heir of the
n-
house. Thank you.
not just an employee.
Yep. Yeah, like most of the mercenaries in House Beneath are employees, contract employees, basically. The an elite number of them have the dragon mark, have the
But
lineage, and
this
they're
one's one of the
legit.
genuine ones.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So you
And the
have
second
that.
ally, it'll be up to you.
Yeah, I'll come up with something, but both of them are more than willing to keep an eye on Saavedra. And I think that's everybody. I think.
You did remind me of a question that I have
Yes.
regarding the Beneath Air.
Okay.
Purser does, openly have a Mark of Sentinel and has spurned joining House Beneath.
hmm
Any of the heirs in Mishann, how do they feel about him because of that?
So it's one of those things where you're already clearly in good with the locals. They're pretty fucking cold towards you, but it's not worth compromising the contract, at least officially. And the guy who they sent, who the one person in charge, I have the name somewhere. Uh, he's sort of an old pro, so he
Hmm.
explicitly told the other actual members of the house, "We're this place is nothing right now. It's outside the court edicts. Don't cause bad blood yet." Um,
Hmm.
because
Oh
they
boy.
know what that could mean. This settlement is outside the court edicts, and they have a ground floor opening. They're not gonna stir up shit. Uh,
That's fair.
it could be a problem later down the line, but that's a 10 years down the line problem. Um, so, for reference, Korth edicts are basically they're antitrust laws. Dragon marked houses can't like be actual nobles of a kingdom, and they're not normal citizens in exchange for being kind of outside the standard legal system. And they cover all of Korovair. They don't cover other continents. So a dragon marked family could set up here and just declare themselves. They could just be part of the nobility, and it's perfectly legal. Um, so that's why it's kind of a big deal for dragon marked houses to work here. But even if it's this shitty little tiny settlement. But anyways, so the week goes by, and I will say about uh, I'd say about 4 days into it, Purser, you're just putting the last few touches on your the box of preservation.
Yeah, just been spending like the whole week hunched over with like engraving tools. Like there's a huge
Yeah,
like pain in my neck.
Nat
He's like
coming.
constantly squinting everywhere he goes.
Nat has come by several
Um,
times to deliver stuff. Like basically bullies, or I won't say bullies, but like really pressures you into being able to take the shavings away from the box. Like it has no value. It's wood shavings, but she's like, can I halves? You know, that type of thing. Um, you've gotten some very cordial visits from Lady Ostrin, where she came by and asked to speak with you and didn't really have any official business beyond asking like a packing list and anything you knew about the ruin, things like that.
Yeah,
She
I'm
came
happy
by a
to
couple
discuss
times.
that with her.
Yeah, it was weird. She came by a few times, but um, the you hear a knock at the door, and it's probably a nice break to do like to stand up and do the. You don't realize you're hunched until you try and stand up fully. You have to kind of like take a few steps
Yeah, like
backwards.
pop my
Uh,
back and
yeah, and you open it up, and um, standing there is what looks like a human, with like a pretty heavy tan, like looking around in the outfit he's wearing. It wouldn't be out of place at like in the Tower of the 12 or something. Not because it's necessarily designated wizard robes, but just because wizards don't, especially someone as storied as someone in like the 12, moderation is not a popular thing in that fashion. So what he's wearing is like if a circus trope and like old medieval royalty threw up, like a medieval royal wardrobe threw up. It's just way over the top, like golden shimmering silken cloth, like robes, draped over with like what look like gems the size of like a robin's egg. Um, and he's just like
So
looking around confused
See-
as you open the door.
So Percy is like rubbing his eyes. This like visual assault isn't helping his like magically induced hangover because he's been poring over this.
basically met a Burgundian noble.
Yeah. And yeah, as you open the door, he stops knocking like only as you start to open the door. Um and like impatiently looks past you in and then looks at you. You are Purser, yes?
Yeah, ear talon, yes. Or ear talent. Don't listen to me. That was an out of character mistake.
Oh, you're good.
I'm so I broke the lore.
Good.
How dare you?
And I was told by a friend and longtime companion that you were a man of, well, honor, I suppose, much as your kind is capable. And he just like calmly walks past you starts looking curiously around the room.
Yes. Might I have the pleasure of your introduction?
Oh, yes. Uh, you may call me the Watcher of the Bronze, Kulsad.
Oh. At, mm. So Purser smartens up. He's like, I'm not even sure how to interact with this guy. I
Yeah,
will
so like,
respond. I will respond in Draconic since I am fluent. And hmm,
by the way, he
I'm
didn't
a
say Watcher of the Bronze. It's Watcher of Bronze. I don't want to ruin the lore.
yeah. So I'll say in Draconic. It's an honor to have such an illustrious guest here. Can I get you anything?
Hmm? No, it's quite all right. As he's like he goes over, he's kind of tapping the walls with like a very sharp fingernail, just tapping along the wall of your tower, and gives a brief kind of tilt of his head, a little bit of a nod, goes over and just like pulls out a chair and sits down. So, uh, what is this you were so concerned about?
What is this? So, have I sent him any messages or anything?
Not that you know of.
Sorry, it's been a while. I'm just trying to remember. So, that would have been right after we let the demon out, I think.
The closest you've had to interacting with him was his servant Anak, the winged
Yes,
Feldar.
he helped us to get in to fight the stone singer or whatever,
Mhm.
the Medusa.
Yep.
But that was a thing that we did, but I'm not sure if that I would characterize that as concern. I'll just ask, to what do you refer? I have a great number of concerns.
Hmm? Oh, you sent a message uh, through a was a little ostentatious, but something like a phoenix appeared, said you needed aid, and he looks at you, and you see his pupils are, very cat's eye pupils as opposed to, normal human ones. What is this? What? You look so confused.
I apologize, sir, but I sent no such message.
He kind of furrows and is like very clearly searching your face to see if you're lying.
Yeah, I'll be
That
completely
is,
open with him. Like if he tries to read my mind to figure out what's going on, I'll let him.
yeah, he's not
I'm not
doing
telling this
that.
man no.
He's not doing that. He's just, well, Anek swore that you wouldn't waste such time, and you do seem confused. That's
I did
unfortunate.
I did meet with Anak, and he helped us to slay a Dalkir Medusa in your city, but I sent no phoenix or requested your assistance with anything. I'm sorry to have troubled you so.
That is unfortunate, but I suppose it's overdue. I'm supposed to investigate this place. Uh, you will guide me around this village and show me what you're doing here.
Of course, please. I'll
He gets
introduce
up.
you to our leaders and show you around.
I just imagine this entire that draconic, literally just like sounds like, and like it just anyone like like Hollow stops by to once again like sneak a peek at like your refrigerator you're building and just sees you two like going like
Just closes the door and leaves.
Yeah, a man in very elaborate, like shimmering metallic robes, like studded with gemstones, presumably fake because who the fuck would wear that? Is like for some reason growling at Purser. Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I honestly imagine it's much more like it's a very guttural, like incredibly deep language. But yeah,
Hmm.
either way, he gets up and just like expectantly just kind of gestures for you to lead the way.
Yeah, but I'll start showing him around, and I'll talk to him about our future plans and the hopes that the Syrian people have for this place. With the war that I'm sure he's aware of. I'm not even patronizing by asking him if he's aware of the war. Obviously, he is. And
Interestingly enough, like seems to take him a moment when you mention the war. Like he's a little bit thrown, and then right, yes, I remember there was reference to a large-scale conflict on Corover. It's
yes,
been some time since I've left here.
a war of succession.
Aren't they all?
Hmm. So if anyone happens to see Purser while he's like on this
Yeah,
sightseeing tour, he's
probably.
visibly nervous but trying to keep his cool.
I'm
Yeah.
sure if Pick sees it, she's going to look at the person's dreams. If they
They
do.
look very similar in the sense that they are like kind of shielded in some type of I say castle, but I just use that to mean it's like a segregated portion of normal dreams.
Not. Is this what I don't know if she's seen enough people with protected dreams.
Well, it's a pretty rare thing. Yeah, no.
Okay.
If you remembered what you'd have seen before from Saavedra, it would look identical to that almost.
Oh
Wait,
no.
wait a minute. No, no.
I mean, if it does look like that and Pick doesn't remember what she did, she's probably going to repeat the exact behavior.
He does not cast memory wipe on you. He just stops and um he would just crouch down, like he'd just Slav squat on haunches and kind of look at you and just like directly answer your questions. Not quite patronizing. It's not patronizing, but it definitely has like the vibe of, you know,
He's
if a
talking to
hu
a tiny but cute bug person.
yeah, or if
You're not looking.
yeah. Yeah, if a toddler comes up and starts like, demanding to show you wooden blocks and you're like,
Yep.
yeah, it's like, okay, that is a nice block. Yep. Uh,
Yep.
That's a nice rock you got there.
and yeah, he'll answer your questions and why his dreams are funny. And he'll say that his dreams are funny because his people field their dreams from outside influence by they long ago formed a safe space for their own dreams.
Imagine if this is how we find out, like,
She
what person's a doppelganger out of nowhere.
I've already had that terrible realization.
likes this. She probably asks a few more. She asks a few questions, but she's very pleased that he answers them and has like floofed body fur and seems very content that she's actually getting reasons for this strangeness. And
So-
then,
Go ahead.
okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, before you like inundate him with a endless barrage of questions, I'm going to formally introduce you as my associate.
Okay. Yeah, he's very gravely nods to you and takes your one of your little offered hands if you've
Yep.
picked up that humans like to have hands shaken.
Yep.
I wonder
She
which
doesn't
one-
know which one and is too afraid to ask at this point, so
Yeah.
she just rotates through and it seems to work.
It's
Yeah.
okay. Purser's afraid too.
And yeah, now you have a pick accompanying you as you go around.
She lands on Purser's shoulders as she does.
Mm. You can feel through his coat that his muscles are just super tense.
She pats his head reassuringly, having no idea why he's upset. She's just like intense in his mind.
And yeah, as they're going around town, do you guys run into anybody else before you go to the governess or?
I don't know. That's up to them and what they happen to be doing about town.
Yeah, it's here. Bemi, do you get back today from having just discovered that that crocodile ain't got no feet?
Yeah.
Oh my god. You're all embarrassing me in front of the dragon.
It's a dragon.
Yes.
He was very disappointed. And I'm like, I don't know, the apple.
I mean, you are very quiet.
Very
Bemi.
quiet.
Wow, I am, aren't I?
Ah!
There you go.
Is that
I
better?
just turned you all the way up.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sorry.
You're good. You're
All
good.
right, so see, I bet he'd be very disappointed. He'd be, he'd take out his dagger. He'd be cutting pieces of an apple off, and just basically, picture a 5-year-old that just dropped all of his sweets.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
He's that disappointed. He's like, I'm a stupid apple. It is fun, I guess.
And you see Purser and Pick with a shiny, another human person in a very shiny
Oh.
robe.
That's pretty shiny. That's probably why Pick wants to hang around him. Hey guys, how you doing? You have a good day today?
Hello, Bemi.
Hi.
This is my associate, Bemi. He's an archer of great renown.
We've met. Bemi, you look well.
Thanks. It's good to see you.
Pick waves enthusiastically.
Bemi,
He is very nice.
I guarantee you Bemi does not recognize this man.
No, he doesn't, but he's just pretending.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
polite like that.
Yeah.
Bemi, this is your bronze friend from the city.
Yeah. Of course.
I'm gonna give myself a little. You can
I
do
imagine-
it, Pick. You did
I
not do it, Pick.
Yeah. I imagine Bemmy is just like he didn't know, but upon finding it, it's like, yeah, that tracks.
Sure, of course I met. Meemaw's had all kinds of gentlemen callers. Sure, I've met people that I don't remember.
No, Bemmy, it's me, Kulsad. And like seeing the lack of it.
First, just like face palming at this point.
The
Just kill me
singing
now.
fellow. You complimented me on my singing. It was a breeze on an otherwise sorrowful day.
It was real good singing. Now that you mention it. How'd you get so good?
Far too long of silent practice.
Power.
But
Paid
it
off.
is good to see you again.
Apple? He holds out the apple he was cutting pieces off.
Yeah, he just, considers it a moment and takes the apple. And
That's why Pick seems to have this moment of realization. And she goes, "You were very kind. Thank you."
You're welcome. But yes, so this the docks. I see that you're working on rebuilding them.
Ah, yes. It's been a long project. Of course, our ships aren't built to the size of the old giant ship, so it's required modification.
Yeah, he nods. Like it's kind of funny as you've shown him around, he looks a little bit more depressed. Like as you show him around the settlement, you've done quite a bit here. It's certainly a strong effort.
Why the long face?
You fool.
He reaches up and feels it. It's still very properly shaped. But it's regardless. Is there any other areas?
Yes, let me take you to the governess's estate, and it may do you well to speak to our leader herself.
That's fair. And
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
going to.
he just follows you.
I don't know if she has like a secretary or something like taking appointments or anything, but whatever impediment, I'm going to insist on getting a meeting with her right away.
Yeah, there isn't much of one. She does have what's like technically an aide, but that person has a full-time, like that's aide slash one of two bureaucrats that actually
Right.
organize stuff. So they come kind of running out of the file room that just keeps track of land leases, people officially claiming chunks, new settlers, all the various paperwork minutia that you need to do for this kind of place. And he comes out and has no issue with you going in, although he does like give kind of a confused look at the like bronzed man in the ridiculous robe, but doesn't say anything. And yeah, you're welcomed into the governess's office.
So yeah, I'll just like sweep my way into her office and say, I assume she's there.
Yeah, she's there.
Okay.
She's currently doing paperwork.
Purser's so nervous he might have made a full introduction to an empty room.
Yeah.
So, Lady Irthovar, I have someone here to meet with you. We met him in the ancient giantess city to the south. He's very important and dangerous.
He looks a little alarmed at that introduction. All right. Sure. One moment. And she just kind of like puts the paperwork she was working on in her, inbox or whatever, and like puts the half a pastry that was probably breakfast slash lunch aside, and sweeps the desk clean, and well, show them in.
So I'll introduce the two of them as formally and respectfully as I possibly can. Just dancing on knives here, as far as
Yeah,
Percy's concerned.
yeah. He goes in and he gives a very like he'll pretty much mimic whatever social thing she goes to, but seeing that you're going all out, she just does a very formal something like a bow, what is it, make a leg or whatever the thing where you like
Hmm.
uh the old medieval thing, something like that. I feel like would be Korover, some combination of the two.
Okay.
And he will kind of mimic it, but it's clear he's just like aping whatever she does. He's just going off that.
Mm-hmm.
And she gestures for him to sit down, as he does, and looks around the office a bit and says, "So, this settlement has appeared very quickly within the area that has been given that is my responsibility. What is the intention here? I understand your warrior, aide, whatever this Talon fellow is. He implied that you were planning expansion." And for her part, she's just like a little flabbergasted, but just answers in the affirmative that yes, expansion is being planned, and she still doesn't know who he is, so she's Kulsad. It's great. She says yes,
Biker
expansion's
of the Night
planned, and
Man.
yeah, who are you? And yes, I am Watcher of Bronze, given designation to monitor and um, ensure aspects of the Capiran Islands stay stable.
So
And like he doesn't see any further need to explain past that, and
I would like
starts.
to cut in there
Yeah.
and give like a little bit more contextual explanation for her. I'll say, like, I don't know precisely how long he has been there, but he is a powerful draconic wizard and has been here a very long time by our reckoning.
Hmm. I was given the post when I was fairly young, but I have been here for several centuries. And wizard's a bit of a misnomer. I'm really more of an artist than wizard, but nevertheless,
It's
it's a family designation.
it's true. We got a voice to ring just like a bell.
Thank
He's
you. Thank you.
he's a master of friendship and karate.
For
Um,
everyone.
but yeah, it's now. I understand the impulse of your from war-torn region, Korover, but I will insist that your folk do seem kind and certainly well-meaning. I doubt anyone had informed you, but large-scale expansion will likely invoke an effect that will destroy any civilization that gets too large or influential. I would advise against further expansion here.
Why?
And he just kind of like looks sideways because this land was home to a terrible mistake a very long time ago, Pick. My duty to ensure things like that don't happen again.
Could we not make the mistake?
I'm sure you would intend not to, but my people have judged that it is not something for you to decide.
The lantana drops and she looks at Purser.
He just gives a scared nod. What limits do you intend to ask us to restrain ourselves?
And he leans back and kind of fiddles with his robe in an odd way, like just you would say it's almost it's a nervous gesture, but not. That seems a little ridiculous. Do not expand beyond the main island. Um, I what is the nature of your people?
In the meanest sense, refugees.
No, beyond that. What do you do? Haven't left my post since I received it.
We
What?
mug people.
Fortunately, I don't think Lidger's there.
At gunpoint.
What a great representation.
Sorry, I can't help myself with that.
Before
and
food at night.
what do we? And what do muggers do?
He's only one dragon. It's two of us.
Never
Any-
Nah,
anyway,
I'd win.
so
Oh.
Purser, speaking as a relative outsider, the Siren people are ingenious craftsmen. They have a saying that what their hands imagine, or sorry, what their minds imagine, their hands can create.
He just sort of leans back and closes his eyes for a minute and seems to be just kind of very deep in thought. And this is what's intended to create what exactly? A settlement, but what's the nature of it? Are you going to be feudal slave state like the Sulatar, tribal, or warlords? What do you intend? What do your minds imagine here?
Well, in the short term, we'd want to create a new home for the refugees, but I imagine they'll wish to recreate their old home. Works of art, artifice. Not exactly sure. I mean, it was a monarchy, but I'm not sure how far down like the governmental bureaucracy went. I'm not sure exactly what I would define the Syrian government as.
Yeah,
But
I mean, to me, the vibe was always very like sort of Victorian era in the sense that there's like House Cannith had a very like East India Company level influence.
mm-hmm.
I like
I
so
think feudo-industrial.
yeah, there we go. That sounds right. Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
And
Purser
these,
would be able to explain it much better than I can.
yeah, because it's not as much conjecture. It's something he has solidly.
Exactly.
Yeah. So describing it is. So these people were artists above all else.
Not above all else, but it was the greatest aspiration.
And what happened to them? Why are there refugees here?
You. Hmm. If you truly don't know, the nation of Galifar was formerly the seat of the. Or, sorry, the nation of Seer was formerly the seat of the Galifaran Empire, which I assume that you're familiar with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like he's asking what ended this
Yeah, I know.
particular.
I'm leading up to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He gestures as if, yes, I'm familiar. There was a kingdom that rose, not
Yes.
too long ago.
Almost 5 years ago now, the entire nation of Seer, exactly to the borders, was destroyed in an incredible magical disaster. No one knows why.
Yes, I received. Yes, I heard about that. That was your people's. That was your homeland lost.
Yes.
And he sort of sits back and just like goes quiet for long enough for it to be awkward as he's just kind of like looking out the window a little bit.
Purser's happy to let him take as much time as he wants to ruminate. I'm just trying not to give him a reason to just decide we need to wipe these people out so they don't do it again.
So to break the awkward silence, Bemmy would just offer the dragon some jerky.
Hmm?
Oh,
No, I'm
No, it just seems
well,
like a good moment
is
for you to chew something over.
hmm. Well, I will have some jerky. Your mother didn't make this, did she?
No, yeah. Oh, me mom making jerky. That's uh,
She was fond of skin when I met her. All right.
yeah, that would. No, I made this myself.
And like he just stands up. I've decided then, your Mishann, it if you truly aspire to create a place of beauty and not not things that shouldn't be touched, artifice beyond mortal means, that is worth watching. You have my blessings to continue to a certain point.
well,
I will check in every decade or so, maybe sooner. And without any other words, he just leaves. Oh, and like he stops at the door before he does. If any others of my kind arrive, uh, direct them to me.
of course.
Will their dreams look like yours?
Hmm? Oh, yes. Uh, yes, I suppose they would to your eyes.
Okay, then I will know, and I will tell them too. Thank you.
It's
And
good seeing you again. I hope your kitty cat's okay.
oh, yes, he's fine. Uh, he was uh, he was quite well. He was quite happy to be able to go out and take the fight to something, he said. I don't entirely approve of you misusing my companion in that way, but admittedly, Anak is his own creature. He's allowed to do things like that if he really insists.
Well, if it made him happy, I think that's a step in the right direction.
Well, it certainly made him complain less about the poetry.
See,
But
that's pretty good.
regardless, I must be going. As I've said, keep to keep to what you've told me of your people, and limit your influence. Don't expand beyond the main island. This should be acceptable.
Of
And
course.
he kind of just waits at the door like he expects to be let out. Like he just looks at Purser.
Oh yeah,
Just
I'll show him out.
just like that nobleman nobleman or woman like walks in and sees someone in like at the head of the table and they don't say anything, they just look confused at the person who took their seat.
Mhm.
Like it has that same like, why are you sitting there? And
Yeah, I'll very graciously like lead him outside and wish him well.
yeah, and he nods and says, as I said, at least once a decade, maybe sooner. Things are strange right now.
I understand.
And then he just walks towards the edge of the I guess it would be not quite the docks, but like the river's edge, and just like as he walks, his form just sort of melds into this enormous uh, bronze dragon, and um, like takes a leap into the air and
Pretty.
quickly rises up high enough to fly away. Which that spooks the living hell out of the town behind you. Um, there's like a few minutes later, there's alarms being rung, and or like within moments, there's alarms being rung at the military encampment on the edge of town. There's like yells of
What would you
alarm,
even do, guys? Just
and
So,
yeah,
judging by his size, is there any way to like guess his age or what size
um,
category he's in?
probably not not Great Worm. Like Great Worm would be stupid big.
I don't like that you started there.
Um, Probably not ancient either, but Purser's no dragon expert.
Right.
Definitely adult, but that's a wide range.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah,
he is big and pretty.
very yeah. Like interesting enough, his scales, they are like they shine, but there is an odd, I won't say pallor, but like it's a very deep, uh it's a very deep color. Like it's less like bright reflective and more like um
It's like
you know
patina.
yeah, like very weathered metal um as he takes off. Probably not an age indicator, more like that's just his personal coloring or what have you.
Right.
Yeah. Um Takes
So
flight.
Purser lets out the breath he was holding as he leaves. Oh, sorry, continue.
No, I mean that was it. That was he
Oh,
takes
okay.
flight and pretty quickly
Skedaddles.
leaves sight. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, he's not half bad. But I think
I
it
am
would be smart to listen to what he say. Let's stay here, Big
Mm,
Island. We don't go nowhere else.
He said
yes.
don't expand to anywhere else. It wasn't a like don't travel. It was don't like completely control the island and then expand beyond it. And he didn't say why. To be fair, it could just be his preference.
So another out of character concern. I was really worried he was gonna ask some questions about a certain demon. Because I have a feeling that's what you were insinuating, and Purser was very concerned.
Uh,
At least one of the things.
I imagine within about 15 or 20 minutes, Ludger shows up with Baltazar.
What the
I,
fuck was
I
that
would
thing?
probably within 5 minutes. Like yeah, there's troops gathering, like people. It's not quite blind panic, but yeah, like they're setting out. What
Like,
military force is here is coming out.
it's like, all right, fine. Pretty much the equivalent of like, why is it always you three? Uh, it's like, okay, what happened? I know it was something to do with, you know, everything in this town is linked to our group, and it wasn't us. So what happened?
That
A
Of course,
very
I just came by for a
dragon.
visit. Want to say hello.
I feel like that was in character. Like people talking
Yep.
over each other was definitely in character.
yeah, Purser will wait for everyone else to get it out before making a more detailed explanation. So
Of course, I just came by for a visit. Want to say hello and make sure we behaving ourselves.
Uh huh. So, who's
Yeah.
your friend?
Well, not an enemy.
Very
I
nice.
Mhm.
would hope so. I would really hope they're not an enemy.
Yeah, the dragon that was about, I don't know what else would be the size of a school bus in the setting, but like, yeah, the dragon the size of a school bus.
Pretty sure some of the windows in town broke for that thing if it roared at all.
I mean, maybe, yeah. Um, but it was just a check in. Apparently, he didn't know about the place and decided to check in because one of you asked for help. So came to see what was going on.
he heavily insinuated that he was assigned here by some greater power, and he has both the power and the responsibility to destroy us if we overstep.
That's great. Nice to see the overseer cared a lot about the infection that killed half the people here.
I
But
worry
now,
that
now magically
we're
we
the
can't expand.
infection. Sorry, I think we both talked at the same time there.
Basically, I said, so he doesn't want us to expand because he's managing us, but he didn't care to stop the massive pestilence that took out half the place.
Dragons are not gods. What happened here was very bad. I don't think one dragon could stop it.
Don't think he cared.
But he's not to try and stop us for some reason. So
I think he worries that we will expand into something unfortunately dangerous.
I appreciate the
Char-
compliment.
out of character, does Pick know that wasn't this the place where the madness took hold when there was too many people?
Along with like most other settlements that get really big.
Mhm.
You've heard a lot of stories from the mainland.
I mean, we've talked about it in the party with like the very, that's been half of our propaganda against the Vervic Pact
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
leaning into their fears of like the expansion is bad.
yeah. And the reason that like Corovere decided to set up a settlement here is some researchers from Stormreach deduced that if there was a magical curse effect on Zendrik, it shouldn't go more than like 250 miles out anymore because they decide like based on various magical atmospheric readings over the centuries, sort of incidental. Um, they weren't trying to measure it, but when compared with records they had, they felt that the curse, if there was a curse, should be receding. Like that's following the same pattern that curses go. You know, this area should be outside that curse anymore. The madness of crowds. So even if it was here in the past, the concept being maybe it's not here anymore. Yeah, other than that, the week goes by uneventfully, and after 6 days, your ship is coming back into port, ready for you guys to set sail to the south.
Yep.
And that seems like a pretty solid point to end it. Is there
Mhm.
anything else anybody wanted to say in character before we close off? Final thoughts or just something that's like I'm not gonna remember that next week type thing. Cool.
No.
All right, I will
Yeah,
stop. Yeah.
I would say basically, and I'll probably go over it again, but just in case I don't remember next week, like, just basically a scene playing out of like uh when we're all getting on a boat, like Ludger going with his wife and like his two kids onto a boat, and like again, you guys seen the family before, but
Yeah.
a
No, boarding and getting your equipment on and guard, like, yeah, that absolutely we can do that proper next session. I just like
yeah.
any thoughts because that was a pretty big event. So I'll stop recording.